Good morning and welcome to Morning Coffee with Tottenham Tantrum Gold and our friend Ben Kaufman in his coffee shop. How are you this morning, Ben?
Doing good this morning. It's going to be a rather chill day for us, unfortunately, but
It is. I think.
Let's spark it off. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to put on a match in the background from one of the classic from Duck Jive again. So we're going to have a bit of Spurs smashing a few goals past Millwall from the old 88-89 season, just for a bit of nostalgia again while we're talking away, since it's just the two of us this morning. Unfortunately, Dermot's not with us. He's having a little bit of difficulties at home at the moment, but we wish him the best, and he'll be back with us shortly, hopefully for this afternoon, because we're going to be doing his all-time best 11 if he's in a state to do it. We'll see. So I'll put on the match first, and then we'll work out what we're doing the rest of it. So what's happened overnight? We've got Manchester United now called off against the game against Brentford. That ties in with that conspiracy theory we have about Brentford, doesn't it?
It looks like the guys at Tottenham Tantrum Gold are very smart cookies. We knew this before the Premier League knew. Everyone should sign us up. We know what we're doing here.
That's right. I'll just spot Terry Hurlock on the pitch now. He was a very distinctive character for Millwall back in the 80s. Built like a bit of a tank, he was.
Yep. Great kit as well. Great kits. The shorts are very short, but very long at the same time.
That's right. That's perfect 1980s for you.
Yep.
Oh, Chrissy Waddle. We haven't seen him on any of the matches we've done lately.
No, we haven't.
So that's a good one. Him and Hoddle together were just magic.
And the majestic mullet as well.
Absolutely.
Because it's the 80s. Everything was better.
Yeah, I certainly had my mullet in the 80s as well at one point. Let's see, who have we got in chat this morning? Oh, we've got Derrick Hutchinson. Good morning, Derrick. Good of you to join us again. And we also have Chris Agomba. And good morning to you. Thank you for joining us too. So I think we're doing a little bit different this morning. Is sort of ad-libbing it with Dermot off. He usually is so prepared with all his lists of questions and things he wants to go through, and we'll just do it on the fly. I think that's sort of Ben and I's style with everything, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, that's our style, and we might as well have fun. And it's good to always watch a game. It's my first time doing a game watch along here because I'm usually busier in the evening, so it'll be fun to do it. It was a hybrid.
We'll have to get you on. Perhaps we should do this a bit more often in the mornings. Let's see what people
possibly
think. Can get some of your favourite games then.
Yeah. Needs to do the 2008 Carling Cup final. I still want to reminisce on that. Needs to do that one day.
Oh, the actual final, yeah.
That was a great day out.
I'm thinking there's some good semi-finals as well, isn't there?
The 5-1.
Stuffing Chelsea, stuffing Arsenal, those sort of semi-finals are the ones we like.
Yeah, that's the one.
The 86-87 FA Cup semi-final when we played Watford, there's a truckload of goals in that one. I think that's a 5-1 win.
Yeah, it was. If anyone should wish to join, can we drop the link of the StreamYard in the chat so someone can join
That's
in?
A good idea, isn't it?
If they should wish to reminisce about Tottenham battering the Scum 5-0 in the. So
there we go.
If everyone should wish to join us and ramble on in this morning hour, feel free to join us.
You're a natural, Ben. You're after my spot on the team here permanently, I think.
I don't think I'm good at this. I'm just good at rambling.
That's what we do, mate. Right. What do we got there? Yeah, so COVID thing is still overshadowing everything. With more outbreaks happening, is it even more likely we're going to see a close down of the fixture list?
I hope so, because it's just like we cannot physically afford to have stadiums open with potential players with COVID. If one person in a stadium with 60,000 people has COVID, you can have an outbreak of 60,000 people with it. So we really need to get this shit under control and start thinking about the players' families and start thinking about people's families at home that might possibly get it. I mean, it's only a football game at the end of the day. People need to return home safe and well from football. So this is the priority for the football club and for the Premier League.
Yeah, agreed. It's always comes down to that greed over, well, not even greed. It's the financial aspect of it versus the health aspect. You've got to look at the health issues first, haven't you? It's literally killed so many people. Perhaps this new milder variant of COVID might become predominant. That would help ease things in the long run, I suppose. But you just can't take any chances at the moment.
No, you can't. Who knows what the next COVID? Because we could have another Brazilian variant. There could be another English variant with the spread of Omicron throughout the UK and lack of. Even though the UK is actually doing okay with the vaccinations so far, I think it's like 77% of people have had their booster so far. So we seem to be doing okay, but we really need to nip this in the bud as soon as possible because we need to get back to normal now.
Just noticed Paul Walsh on the ball as well. I really like Paul Walsh. He never scored enough goals, but he was a really clever player. His flowing long locks were really distinctive as well.
Very physical game so far. You can see that even though they're a physical team, Millwall, they were still liking to play. They were still playing the ball on the floor, which is sort of the destruction of the myth that even if you're a physical team, you can't play good football. And they're showing very, very, very good football at this moment in time.
Back of those days, that's the same era as Tony Cascarino and Teddy Sheringham for them. I think it might be. It
might be just the start of it.
Because they didn't spend too long in the top flight when they came up, so I think this must be when they're still there. We'll soon see.
Never good to see Teddy in a Millwall shirt, but we still love him anyway.
It's true. All got to start somewhere.
Yep.
That's the thing about London clubs, especially when there's so many concentration of clubs. You're going to get the youth players starting at might be at one of your rivals, but they're better known at a different club later on. Because if you're offered a contract when you're a youngster, you're just going to take it.
You take it, yeah. I asked this to my mate who's his son was training at Tottenham. He's a West Ham fan. And I asked him, how do you feel, because he hates Tottenham, being a West Ham fan. He said, well, how would you feel if your son was given a contract at Tottenham? He said, it'd be over the moon.
Yeah.
And that's
you can't turn it down, can you?
You cannot turn it down, whether it's Arsenal or Tottenham or Chelsea. If you have to take the contract, you have to look at your kids' futures.
It's just one of those crazy things you see, a sort of desperate attempt to hold something against Harry Kane at times, isn't it? He used to be a gooner. No, he didn't. He just had he just had opportunities with the youth side there. That's all.
And then you never got the deal for some silly reason. It's probably Arsenal's. They've done some clangers. The worst one was having Ronaldo not sign for them when he trained Yaya Toure and Harry Kane and all these players. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, they said no to because they weren't technical enough, and they've shown them.
Yeah, I seem to remember Wenger wanted to keep Harry Kane though.
Interesting. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. He's a hard-working lad, and his technical ability is second to none in terms of his weight on the ball.
Yeah, they could always see something in him. That was for sure. Then it goes back to that story about getting the running shoes and really upping his level of fitness and a bit of extra speed. It made a lot of difference for him. Oh, who have we got here? I'm trying to think who's playing left back for us. 89.
It's not Chrissy Houghton. That's well gone.
I'll try. Can't be just Edinburgh already, surely.
Might possibly be RIP.
I didn't recognise him from that.
No, I didn't either.
Looked a bit sort of shaved head sort of style almost.
I don't know if it's too early to be Ian Walker, right? Ian Walker was 92, right? Who was in goal for Tottenham?
This would have been, let's see, Clement's finished by now? No, can't have. Let's think. We're getting close to Eric Torstvedt came in.
It's not the Viking.
It's too early, I think. Or is it? What have we got there? Oh, it's really grainy. I couldn't make him out.
Crooks up front, right? Should have been in this team. It would have been Garth Crooks up front. Oh, my bad.
No, much too late for Garth Crooks. I think we're looking at it's the season after, or a couple of seasons after, Clive Allen had banged in 49 goals. So it might still be Clive Allen up front, unless he's gone off. I'm trying to remember which French club he went to after us.
Great touch there. That was a great touch, but lost the ball eventually.
Hoddle's gone, of course, so Chrissy Waddle will be our main man now.
Yep. Imagine having to follow Glenn Hoddle. It's probably the biggest shoes to fill in Tottenham history.
That is big Eric, isn't it?
It might be. I didn't realise he had that much hair.
No, it just maybe it's just so long ago. I've completely forgotten it. But there's a Brian Daigle incoming.
Oh yes,
that'll liven things up. Don't mention Daniel Levy.
Too late.
Or do. That'll fill up the rest of the show for sure.
Needs to bring back these styles of football kits. I want to see an 80s year in the Premier League. Everyone has 80s football kits. Arsenal bring out the bruised banana. A proper Tottenham bring back their crappy kits and the big collars. Actually, even better, a 70s year. You get the Admiral shirts out again.
Oh yeah, big collars and everything.
That's the best kit. They really need to make a modern version of that. I would buy that. Oh, great goal. Great goal.
And a rare one, Paul Walsh.
Yep, what a goal.
Even rarer, it was with his head.
With the lion mane. You can't beat that.
Yeah, he had a style all of his own.
Yep.
Just needed a sling on a sort of lead guitar, sort of get some vocals going. Studded wristband round there. He was ready to rock at everything there.
Great header.
It was.
That was a brilliant header.
Well picked out as well.
Well picked out.
Between two big lads in central defence, and Paul Walsh is only about 3'12". But here we go. Let's get Brian on. Here we are.
Good morning,
good
sir.
morning, Brian. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm okay. I've been up since 4:30 this morning, my time. Obviously, I'm 5 hours behind you because it was my dad's funeral today, and he sent me the link last night, so I attended for him.
Yeah.
It's only just finished. So here I am. I saw you got the link up. I was like, oh, I'm up so early. I hope someone's going live, and you boys answered the call.
Always here for you, buddy, if you want to chat.
Thank you. First of all, Ben, I will be coming to your coffee shop for sure.
You're always welcome.
Can't guarantee when, brother, but my mother lives. My auntie lives in Chigwell, so I'm gonna spend a day or two with her. So when I'm up there, I'll obviously come and see you. But I just want to say something very quickly because I know there may be people in the street or on the stream or in the chat. So obviously, people know I'm coming home to London. I'm flying Thursday night, which is I arrived very, very early Friday morning, and I've received a lot of help getting me home, obviously for the circumstances of me not working. So I just want to thank each and every single one that did. You have no idea how much it means to me, and loyalty and things like this are the number one thing in my life. It's I learned through my demons. It's the people that stick with you during the dark times that matter, as opposed to all the people that want to be around you during the good times. And I have to say, I am blown away by and humbled by the love and support that I've got just to get home and see him and be there to support Kim. So for anyone watching, people know who they are. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well said, Brian.
It's like what they say, great times are built by strong men and shit times are built by weak men.
Well, there's do you know what? I've got a lot of tattoos, and some are in Hebrew for memorials. But I've got on the side of my legs, I've got two sayings. One which was when I went into rehab, which was they said make something where you are and where you want to be, and I said don't let a past nightmare stand in the way of a future dream. So I had that tattooed. I had don't count the days, make the days count. But the next one I'm having, the reason for this is, of all people, Will Smith, who does a lot of motivational stuff and everything, he did a saying that said, if you're absent during my struggles, don't expect to be present during my success.
Yeah.
And that is something I stand by every single second. So that's what these guys have meant to me. And when I say these people, if they ever need anything, I don't care if you need me to go to Australia and wrestle you out of a crocodile's mouth, I'm on the way. That's all I will say.
Big up yourself, man.
But I will say, back onto Spurs, is this when we beat Millwall 5-0?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Paul Stewart hat-trick.
Yeah, it's an unusual thing, isn't it?
Mate, this was Gazza's first season, wasn't it?
It was. Let's think. Yeah, Paul Stewart hat-trick, so unusual. I remember him coming up with you'd wait sort of 3 or 4 weeks and he'd come up with a brace all of a sudden. But him getting a hat-trick seemed a really rare thing. Was it the only one?
I'll tell you one thing. I mean, Coover, I know you. Ben, if that mind me asking, how old are you? Are you the same?
26.
26. Okay, so it's. I don't think you remember the type. Bloody hell! So I'll tell you a funny. Paul Stewart. My parents got very annoyed with Paul Stewart for me, and not for any bad reasons. But do you remember the show Saint and Greavesy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they used to do Goal of the Month and Goal of the Season, Paul Stewart scored one of the best goals I've ever seen against Coventry, where a throw-in came in and he kneed it over a player and then hit it on the volley into the top corner from the edge of the area or within inside the area. And that's when the premium rate number was like £1 a minute or whatever. I was So I was about 11. I voted for him over 300 times. And then it was like a 45-second call. I just said, "Thank you for calling St. and Greasy. You have." So when the phone bill came in for the quarter, and it was obviously rather high, I'm like, Brian, because they were. So yeah, Paul Stewart cost my parents a lot of money.
To be fair to you, it was a bloody good goal. I remember that one.
It's an unbelievable goal.
Yeah, it was an absolute rocket, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember that one.
If anyone wants to see it, just YouTube Spurs 3, Coventry 2, 1989-90. It's the next season, actually, because Lineker was there. And we go 2-0 down, and then he scores, I think, the second of the 3 goals. Oh, what a goal.
Yeah, it really is. Might have to see if we can dig that out for this channel to show again. So what do you think? Gazza's first season. Do you remember how well do you remember that, Brian?
So this is your Kura, I'm sure you'll remember from going. Do you remember next to the Paxton Road there used to be a banqueting suite called the Chanticleer?
Mm-hmm.
So my uncle was chief photographer of that place. So we used to get a lot of free tickets. And the first season my dad took me to a Spurs game where I went properly was Gazza's first season. And I went a lot. Now, obviously, he came for 2 million. It came with a big fee. And from the moment he scored without a boot against Arsenal, you knew he was great. And he was taking free kicks. This is before your Beckhams and everything, like way before. And he was just sensational. I mean, the next season with Lineker, he just took it to every level. Every season he took it up another level. But this team, you got to remember, there's certain things like this where you only had 2 substitutes back then, and neither was the goalkeeper. And I'm seeing people on the pitch now, like a player that I love, like Paul Walsh. I loved Paul Walsh.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't used enough. I heard Dermot yesterday talking about Naeem. Naeem was great, but I wouldn't have said better than this. Look at this goal.
Oof.
The football we played.
Yeah.
Look at that. And do you know what Paul Stewart says in one of the documentaries, that you knew when Gazza was with you when you were celebrating because you could feel it on your back when he jumped on you. It's a great documentary, Gazza, the real me. So look at the football. Look at the football just then.
Morning, John Fitzpatrick. Good of you to
Do you know
join
what,
us again.
John? Love that. I love this man. He's such a great support. I mean, you're seeing Derrick Hutchinson's in here as well. And the man Chris Agambar, who is a superstar. This is the great thing. You see all these supporters around all the channels. You just know it's like we've kind of become. What I've loved about this Spurs community is like we've become our 24/7 Sky Sports News. Whereas where you're just hearing the same stuff repeated, you just turn on YouTube. You're guaranteed at some point during the day there's one of the channels that are streaming, and just to see so many people coming in and supporting everyone, and the three I've mentioned are big people of that.
Yeah, I was just going to mention about John. I'm sure John won't mind me calling him out, but I remember first time seeing him on one of the channels. I think it was on Irish Hotspur, and he was absolutely ranting and raving about something, and I thought, this bloke's angry. I'm not going to get on with him. I know it. Then I just carried on watching, and then I realised actually he's talking about all the things I remember now, and he's still really angry about them, all the crap that's happened at the club.
Yep.
And then the more I listened to John, I thought, oh yeah, you're absolutely spot on. This is exactly how I was feeling. So after then, I always thought, yeah, it's good to see him on the channel, because it's nice when your views are backed up by somebody that's also experienced the same thing, and you're just realizing how bad things were and why we're getting carried away with some players nowadays. Because we used to have a lot better than some of the rubbish we've seen in recent seasons. But yeah, big up to John though. He's a very passionate fan.
Yeah,
he'll let you know when he's not happy.
Well, yeah, I think you're going to know. I mean, obviously, I was planning to come back in February, but I'm not coming back in January and saying to my wife, "Listen, I'm back off again." So I've got 13 days to protest whilst he's there, and I'm telling you now, I'm convinced this new outbreak is his excuse not to spend, even though he guaranteed the money was there and everything. Some bullshit will come up now. Oh, it's COVID, and I don't mean to take COVID lightly. But that'll be the excuse why we're not spending now, because there may be a lockdown, and because of you can just see it now. You can see it right now, and yeah, I for one will not be tolerating that bullshit.
In the words of a great friend, as soon as we only see if he spent money if they're holding up the shirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
In his everlasting words.
Yep. Exactly. So I put it this way: I plan to cause chaos in those 13 days. So look forward to it.
I'll get the popcorn out.
I'll mate, get it. I'm gonna be at the training. I'm gonna make sure I can get to the training ground a few days. My plan is to go to the training ground with one of the banners and the placards that we have opposite the club shop. And then I've got this crazy dream in my head, Ben. What I plan to do is from there, after everyone's left training, I'm going to walk from the training ground to the stadium. That's right, walk all the way down Edmonton, all the way through like that one long straight road. And I keep thinking, right, it'll start off just me, but by the end of the week, it'll be something like out of Footloose, and everyone will be dancing. I'll take over the road with just herds and herds of people. But I think if I do it every single day, like in January, the media will pick it up. Someone will pick it up, or more people will join, and then we shall see. But yeah, we shall see. It's going to be an interesting few days whilst I'm there.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, do you really think Levy had stooped to? Oh no, yeah, of course he did. So, yeah. Would Levy stoop to? Yes, of course he would. Yeah, that's it.
Mate, it's. Do you know what, this guy? Like, what made me laugh is, do you remember? So I laughed like mad because I can remember when I first moved here in 2017, 2008 to 18. You had remember the Beast from the East.
Yeah.
And then obviously that stopped the roof going up, and they were like, "Oh no, it's going to be." And I was like, "Well, wait a minute. Yeah, you may have had that, but you had the hottest summer that summer for the World Cup, so you could have worked all that set. And then when we moved to the stadium money's here, and the transfers are here. 18 months of no spending. It's you know what? The thing that gets me is Conte would have said, "Listen, show me that the money is there. Show me it's there to spend." Blah blah blah, and he would have had to show or given assurances, and now he can fall back on, well, yeah, there could be a lockdown, so this money might need to be, because we might not know what revenues come. So yeah, I can see it now. I can see it now.
Oh, it'd be shocking though. I mean, after all this, all our hopes are really sky high for the first time in ages with the whole Conte and Paratici. But if it does come down to it, I think no matter what state I'm in, I'm going to be up there with you protesting. It's going to be villagers at the gates time.
I think I've spent too much time around you, Kauffee. You're getting Jewish insecurity again. I didn't realise it was contagious.
Perhaps it is. Need something to combat COVID-19.
I've got to say, going back to this game though, I must admit, this thing, I was watching it yesterday, and it was the first time I realised I was watching it when this was obviously when there was no back pass rule. So whenever you see the back pass and Torstvedt pick it up, I was like, well, wait a minute. And then I'm like, oh yeah.
We weren't even sure if it was Torstvedt at first. Because there was a little bit grainy quality. I'm thinking, was this too early for him? No, it is.
No, this is the season
he came. Who else could be that big with blonde hair at the back there for us?
It shows how stressful Tottenham is. He was bald by the time he left.
I only there a week.
So for my channel, and guys, we'll have to get you both on. I'll talk to you about when we're back off air. We started a show that Chris from Let's Talk Tottenham came on, where we asked you to pick your dream Spurs 11, and the only caveat is it can only be players that you've seen play. So I mean, in your lifetime.
Yeah.
So for instance, we can't pick Greavesy, Mackay, whatever, and we asked you to pick one goalkeeper and then two people that kind of came close in each position. So my number one goalkeeper is Paul Robinson, because I just loved Robbo. I just absolutely loved Robbo, just because how he was with the crowd, and he was a superb keeper. He's a cult hero. But the other two are Lloris and Torstvedt. I absolutely love Torstvedt.
We have had a lot of really top goalkeepers over the years, haven't we?
I mean, my dream 11 would be it'd be great for the show, because I've grown up through the years of mediocrity. There are 2 caps since 1991, and because I was born in 95, and it's just like you're going to see how your dream 11 is going to go from being like full-blown superstars in every position to mine, which is like Gary Doherty and Anthony Gardner at centre back.
Well, I'll tell you, we do it pre-recorded, but we'll try and work out a time to get you two and get your dream 11s on.
No, it sounds bad now, because we're just going to be starting to do that sort of thing today. We're going to be done at Dermot's best 11. We might have to spice it up a little bit and do a slightly different slant on ours.
Yes, like I said, we the only caveat, you can choose any formation, any whatever, but you get to choose. You don't have to choose 2 other players. If it's only like, let's say right back, you only have one that you loved and one that was close, then you just. But it's only like a half-hour pre-recorded show where we go and talk about a couple of players in more depth. So yeah, but it's only going to be a pre-recorded thing. So yeah, but we'd love to get you two on.
Oh, sounds fun.
Good stuff.
Anytime. Can never get bored of talking about Tottenham, especially when you're talking about your favourite players.
Exactly. And like I said, the good thing is when I'm back, at least I'm on the same time zone as you, so it's not like this, like saying, oh yeah, meet me at 6 o'clock in the morning. We can do it at a normal hour.
Yeah, indeed. Mark Cousins, is that Van den Houw at left back? It probably is at that point.
Mate, he was a psycho. I'll look at Waddle.
He really was. I met Eric the Viking at Gary Mabb's do with Paul Stewart.
He's incredible. I've met Torstvedt. He's a great guy. But you know what? One of my biggest regrets is that this summer when we bought Lineker in, that we sold Waddle. If we had one season of Lineker, Waddle, and Gaza, we finished third the next season. I think it would have been Championship.
Even more so, perhaps, if we'd held on to Richard Goff.
Oh, we only had him for one season, didn't we?
Yeah, what a player.
Yep. Look at the dummy. Great dummy. The players were on the wrong wavelength.
That's right.
He's played some great football. He was that.
That's Terry Venables, wasn't it? So he was always this kind of. I'll tell you one thing as well. I'm about to watch it this evening. I saw Rio Ferdinand tweet it. If you check Rio Ferdinand's tweets, he did an hour podcast with Glenn Hoddle.
Yes,
and
I saw that. I saw that in the chat.
So I'm going to be. I'm definitely be watching that. It looks phenomenal.
It shows how great Rio Ferdinand. A lot of people will slag off Rio Ferdinand, but he's shown how good of a bloke he is in his last couple of years outside of the Man United bubble. With his programs, his effort to combat mental health and his story about his wife. Late wife, and he's shown how brilliant of a bloke he is.
Especially that I've missed the show, but hopefully I'll catch it when I get back home. I'll find it somewhere where he did one with his new wife about being a foster mum, or not a foster mum, a stepmom.
Yeah,
and dealing with that, obviously. So yeah, he's actually a very, very down to earth guy. I think, do you know what? In general talking, I find the BT commentators or the pundits a lot more non-biased.
Yeah.
Apart from Michael Owen, who's just stupid. I mean, if you do YouTube, Michael Owen's classic sayings, he's the worst commentator.
If they don't score, they hardly ever win.
Yeah, that's right. That was unstoppable until the goalkeeper saved it.
I mean, it goes to show how many fellow professionals just hate Michael Owen. Alan Shearer seems like a really nice chap, but he despises Michael Owen for good reason.
Yeah, not only that. Do you know what I love about Shearer is he stayed loyal with the BBC. He could have gone for the big bucks at Sky and whatever, and he stuck to BBC. And do you know what? He was known for being quite boring. Him and Wrighty together are brilliant.
Yeah.
Wrighty
himself is just brilliant on his own.
Have you watched those things on YouTube as well? Whenever I'm down, I watch it. When Shearer and Wrighty have the try not to laugh jokes at each other.
I've seen that, yeah.
Gee. And some of those jokes are really, really funny. I must admit.
Wrighty's one of those really rare players where, he played for that a lot.
Yep.
And I still actually like him.
Hated him as a player because obviously, but the only reason I hated him was because it was because he was Arsenal, but it's because he was so good.
Reminds me of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
I loved him.
He was amazing, but you just had to hate that fucker because he played for the scum.
I loved him. I mean, he always scored against Arsenal, but that guy probably had one of the hardest shots you'll ever see.
Yeah.
He had, do you know what? The amount of times, like he tore it up at Leeds, then he went to Atletico Madrid. I would have loved if he had come to. Let's not go down that route. What a player he was.
Definitely. Some just leave those lasting memories. They're just something exceptional about them. It's like you remember Anthony Yeboah at Leeds.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just remember him for the couple of goals where he just
Leeds and Wimbledon
stormed past people and then smashed it in at 200 miles an hour off the crossbar. It's just some things players do. You just don't forget it, no matter what. The likes of Yaya Toure as well when he goes rampaging through the middle.
He's at Spurs. I hope he can play. I honestly, if we sign him as a coach, I will be one of the happiest people around.
I'd still play him centre midfield. I'd depth Tonga and play Yaya Toure in midfield.
You're not wrong. I mean, that guy. If you want to enable that football club to be surrounded by winners, then just look at that man. Just make sure you get him a birthday cake.
Yep. I'll get him a birthday cake, some latkes, cream cheese bagel, anything he wants.
Mate, I have to say to you, on your recommendation, I tried a latke with vinegar.
Yeah.
Boom,
absolutely
boom.
Bang on. Sauce and vinegar.
Mate,
can't beat it.
Sababa.
Look at that dive there.
Well, do you know what? When you watch the football here, I mean, I can remember this season. I want to say very quickly, he's just come. Oh, Gugamar's in the chat as well. So Gugamar, and I've got to say big up to Mr. Celery Agent, who I adore. Absolutely adore this guy.
Legends of the chat.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I've been speaking to him on social media for a little while. He's a great guy. So we've left back. We've been. Derrick Hutchinson has said Houghton, and Mark has gone for Van den Houw.
I don't think it is Houghton because he doesn't have curly hair.
No, Houghton's right back as well. I don't know if he sometimes plays left back.
That could be it. Because I swear that we saw the number 3 and he had sort of short, almost spiky hair. And I thought,
he had curly hair. I don't know if you know one of these guys. I don't know if you know the Sunray family. I know they're more Barkingside based, Brian, but they've got similar hair to Chrissy Houghton, like very short but quite curly. That's more of the Barkingside lot. So they might not, rather than the Chigwellian lot.
The Chigwellian.
that I grew up as being part of.
Yeah, so my auntie used to live on Fen Priest Road.
Okay, yeah.
But now she lives just off it into it's a private housing plate, with the electronic gates to go in one of those. So it is still Chigwell. I think it's by the Maypole pub.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah,
I think
that's where the Cashkits. That's where the Cashkits used to live. Opposite that.
Okay.
Right? Where the Cashkits used to live. For the Cashkits used to be. They used to design the uniforms for the royal family, and they went to my school. Twats, basically. But one of them was all right. But they lived by the Maypole pub. We were Cortland Drive. Cortland Drive's that's a long time ago.
Okay. But yeah, like I said, you're in Woodford, aren't you?
I live in Loughton, but my shop's in Woodford.
Shop's in Woodford. Okay, wicked. So when I'm down, I'll bring my auntie down. We'll come for a coffee.
Always welcome, Kuva. The same's to you if you're ever in this area.
I'll tell you the weirdest thing. Brains McLeod from We Are Tottenham TV.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Unbelievable guy. Really love him. Haven't been on the screen with him, but see him in the back end and love it when he's on. He's hysterical. So I was talking with him yesterday. We have a group for people that do the watch-alongs at We Are Tottenham TV. Mm-hmm. And I sent him a voice note going, listen, because he's coming down for a few watch-alongs. And I said, listen, I cannot wait to see you. I've really wanted to meet you, yada, yada, yada. He goes, Brian, I don't live in Scotland. I live down here. And then he sent me a message and goes, I actually live in, and he lives in literally my area. Like within 5-minute walk from me. I'm like, how have I never ever seen you?
The words of small place.
In it, thinking automatically, which was kind of don't know what the word is, but stupid of me thinking that because he's got a Scottish accent, he's calling from Scotland. Obviously, they can be anywhere, and he's like, yeah, I live in Cockfosters. I was like, oh, okay. I'll see you on Friday.
Yeah.
Brian, we were talking earlier about the ongoing COVID the outbreak, and now the Man United Brentford game's called off.
Yep.
Are you starting to sway towards the fixtures just all being called off over Christmas now, like we are? Or
well, now that I'm coming, I really hope not. I really hope not. This would just be like, listen, they've got to do what's best for safety. They've got to do, but you know what? There's from everything I've heard, like when Ivan Toney got it, and then obviously we played Brentford, and it's since Brentford that this has all happened with us. Now, obviously, we haven't come into contact with Manchester United at all, but the fact that it is getting here, but I also don't understand why these players, have not been vaccinated from the beginning, or not from the beginning, because obviously there's other people, but they're professional. They get things first or whatever because of the money. So you look at it, and I was watching. I saw a thing in. Can't remember where it was. Where I saw it, but Sky Sports, where in Germany now. Was it Germany or just Bayern Munich? It may have just been by. I think it was Germany. They said any player that gets injured or goes down with COVID and they haven't been vaccinated, they're not getting paid. It's that simple. You don't have the vax, you go down with it. You could have done something. Not saying that you still can't get COVID, because we know people can. But if you haven't been vaccinated, you're not getting paid. And this is what they should do. This is what should have been happening.
Potentially, with the fact they're always travelling.
Exactly.
I'd like to have some sort of a freedom of choice thing, but I totally agree. If you're playing all around the country and all around Europe, you've got no excuse.
That's the thing, Ben.
Because we played Brentford and we got it. Then we played Norwich and we gave it to Norwich. And then Norwich played United and gave it to United.
Exactly. So, and then you look at it as well. Like you said, these are people that have gone on international duty, gone to Europe, and we know again what it's caused us, like with the South Americans when they came back from international duty. And like you said, like Kim said, God bless Kim, on, I think it was Colin's show on Friday, it's not just the players getting it, they're around their wives and their kids, and their wives and kids go out and socialise with other people, or the kids at school. it's putting a huge number of people at risk. Now, I understand people are either anti or pro-vax or just doing it because everyone has their. But when you have a job with this kind of thing where it's like, right, you're traveling across the country, you're traveling across the world, you're passing people. All right, they go private and they don't really cross anyone on the planes. They don't exactly go through departures like us or anything. But they're interacting with different people from all different walks of life. And when you're doing this as a job, I mean, I can imagine everyone in the army has got it. If anyone's serving in any countries, they have it no matter what for what. So why is it for those heroes, they get it done whether they agree or not to protect, and footballers can't do it?
Just a quick couple of chats came in. Hello, Alexander Hilton. Glad to see you with us again. And Sean at Spurs Talk Show again. Morning, mate. Doing very well here. How about the other lads?
All good, Sean. I'm looking forward to seeing you, buddy. Me and him are going to have a couple of good social and calm debates, but I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to meeting him. He's a great guy. Top dude. We have let's say different opinions. He's more detailed and financially based, whereas I'm just, well, I don't even need to say with what I am.
All guns blazing. The Jewish person, all guns blazing.
Do you know what? I hate using that term, all guns blazing, because they use that as a title for the Arsenal fan TV show. So I'm like, I say it all the time. I'm like, oh, don't say that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, chuck the Luckers off.
Yeah.
Rock hard Luckers.
There you go. There you go.
And what do we make of this one? Celery Agent is saying, just listen to some prats on TalkSport talking about Chrissy Waddle and not even mention Spurs. Apparently, he only played for NC and Marseille.
Well, TalkSport's not fit for purpose. Apart from listening to Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist and their show, there's no one worth. I like listening to Simon Jordan.
I love Simon Jordan. I love him.
I love listening to his. He's got a great mind. He's very analytical.
Oh, incredible.
But I hate listening to Jamie O'Hara. I really want him to listen to Jamie, but he's just a mouth breather. Darren Ben is just Darren Ben. Jack Wilshere is Jack Wilshere. Always complains. I couldn't. Apart from those three, Alan Brazil, Ali McCoist, and Simon Jordan, I can't listen to them. It's just unlistenable.
Oh, especially when it's Jason Cundy and
Jason Cundy, don't even get me mentioned on him.
Fuck him. The show he does with Andy Goldstein, where they just take the piss out of each, and I'm like, oh, geez, I can't. I
see Andy Goldstein once in a while down the pub. He seems like a decent fella, but he just seems so full of himself.
Oh, without doubt.
Why is a Loughton boy, because he lives in Loughton? Why is a Loughton boy supporting a Jewish boy from Loughton supporting Man United? Get your priorities in order. You should be supporting the mighty Tottenham Hotspur.
It should be.
I think I agree with you. And Sean saying the same thing. Love Simon Jordan. I do as well. He's you get a real sense of honest opinion with him. He's prepared to admit when he's wrong instantly, which I always like on these sort of ones. Because
he's always been that way, Coover, hasn't he? Even when he was in charge of Palace, you knew what you were going to get with him. It's like.
Yeah, you've got to respect that, haven't you? Because so many people, it's all about the ego and everything. But he seems to genuinely know what he's talking about, and even if it's detrimental to his own club, he'll say it.
Well, the thing I liked about him,
the only chairman that refunded the fans for a stinker of a performance in the Premier League era, the only one.
No, there's another one. Wigan refunded after the 9-1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But do you know what I loved about Simon Jordan, and to an extent I understood and appreciated with Mike Ashley, is they may have hated him and he may have been a terrible chairman, but he didn't lie to them. He said, I'm not spending. He said, this is it. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm trying. So it wasn't like a lot of chairmen, and obviously ours, that just talk bullshit and come out in the media when it's scripted and I'm going to say this and I'm going to say that. John, it will be, honestly, brother, it will be my pleasure. Reach out to me on social media and we will sort it, mate. We will sort it. I would love to get this man on because I have to say, he's a great supporter of all channels, but personally to me, whenever I'm on anything, he always is there. And as always, even when I was let's say first on We Are Tottenham TV, and people were not seeing what I saw and weren't as in tune with me now with Levy. John Fitzpatrick always had my back, and he is a top man. And John, it'll be a pleasure, brother. Just reach out to me on social media, and then I'll give you my WhatsApp number as well. So yeah, but Simon, as I was saying, Simon Jordan, at least they said this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So love them or hate them, they didn't lie to you. They came out and said, this is it. This is what's happening. This is what's not happening. Not this cat and mouse. Just all this. I'll tell you one thing, but doing the other. So you got to appreciate that, whether you like them or not.
Breaking news from the Woolwich: Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has been stripped of the Arsenal captaincy.
He's gone.
Yeah.
That's going to be a laugh. Arsenal Fan TV and chill this afternoon.
But this is the thing. Do you know what? It's players like this, and you look at it. So he's on 350 grand a week, and it's the same that happened to Ozil. It just goes to show. Like, it's another reason with this Dele Alli as well. It's like you can see they're playing to get the money.
Yeah.
They see it as their last big move. And here's another goal. Look at this from Stuart.
Oh,
Lovely.
Great celebration.
This shows how this was a week or two before Hillsborough, because the fences are still up.
Yeah.
But what a goal! What were we talking about just before them?
Aubameyang and how it's a mercenary footballers like Dele, Aubameyang.
It's just, you know what I mean. It couldn't happen to a nicer team, but when you see someone doing that, and now the great thing for Arsenal, but or for us, sorry, is who's going to pay to get. There's not a club that's going to come in and say, yeah, we'll match, because Aubameyang won't leave for less. Yeah. He'll say, Joe, strip me of the captaincy. He'll do an Ozil. I'll just sit back and do fuck all and pick up 350k a week.
Exactly. He was the obvious comparison immediately, wasn't he?
Yep.
I'd like to. I'm tempted to get on one of their channels sometime when they're talking about new captaincy and say, you could give it to Vlahovic.
But this is the thing, they won't spend, because obviously they can't get his wage off the book.
No.
It's
unfortunately, though, we're kind of in the same position we have been for a little while. Certain players still with us that we think shouldn't be.
The difference is we've got a world-class director of football who can get players out of the club.
Well, hopefully.
But my old man always says, judge a person by their motors. And if you've seen about anyone that has a bright gold Ferrari, it's clearly a cunt.
Yeah.
Sorry for the language, but it's just the only word. It is a total. You don't see Harry Kane with a bright gold car.
I'll tell you one thing. Did anyone see? So when I used to work, this is before I worked for Booking.com. So the job I had before my wife moved over, I used to do the customer service, for the Boris Johnson bikes.
Yeah.
So it was in Enfield, and it was right by Enfield Cinema. And just after we won a game in Europe, they stopped the Bentley right outside our office, which was black on the sides and on the half, and then right through the centre was gold trim. Yeah. They pulled it over, Adebayor.
Yeah.
I was about to say Adebayor. I knew it. There's that picture of him sat on his car collection one time, isn't there?
Yeah.
And the team was struggling at the time, and he's there with a bling round his neck, and he's just thinking he's only missing sort of a spliff and some gangster tune in the background, and it seemed to be always all he was about was just that image.
Yep.
I think at least Adebayor, he was actually a good footballer. But when I saw like Alan Hutton's car with his stupid matte black Lamborghini with his number plate HU770N, whatever it was, I mean, a player like that does not deserve a Lamborghini. He was useless.
Have you heard my Alan Hutton story and Robbie Keane story?
No, I haven't.
Have you heard it, Kuva?
No, but go on.
So this is the season that Keane went to Liverpool. So the season had just ended, and Robbie Keane used to live in Hadley Wood, which is right next to Cockfosters. It's where all Lennox Lewis lives, all that. So it's quite close to me. But anyway, near Cockfosters Station, behind a cricket pitch, there's a beautiful pub that's got one of the best beer gardens you ever see, and it's called the Cock and Dragon. And in the pub. This is when I was still drinking, so we know how long this was ago. So I'm there having a few pints. It's the day after the season finished. Robbie Keane and Alan Hutton walk in and are down insiders like you would not believe. I mean, obviously, it's their end of their season. They can do what they want. So there's me thinking I'm Jack the Lad. You know what? I'm going to go up and say hello to Robbie Keane and Alan Hutton. And Alan Hutton in person is a beast. He may not be a good footballer, but I would not want to go toe-to-toe with him. But anyway, so Keane had scored 100 Premier League goals for us at that time, or it hit whatever record he had hit. So I wanted to go up and say, Robbie King, thank you for a great season, great goals. I really want to say you're a fantastic player. Love having you at Spurs. So I started doing my little walk over to him.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, this is exactly what I said when I got there. Hey, Robbie, you've great season, great goals, yay! Like, but a lot higher, a lot higher pitched. And Alan Hutton looked at me as if he was about to eat me. He is like, I'm going to rip your head off and eat what's left. He is a beast of a man.
So that's what we've learned today. Don't mess with Alan Hutton.
I've just realised you had told me that one, Brian, but I still like hearing it again.
Oh, God, yeah. Although I will say this, how bad I was. I took Robbie King's pint glass home and nicked it from the pub. And I was like, right, I'm drinking out of Robbie King's pint glass.
Nice.
Oh, here comes the other guy. Is it? Yep, here comes. Look at this goal.
Oh, that's a deft touch.
Mate, we've played
Definitely
such good football.
He was a proper unit, was Paul Stewart as well.
Oh, mate, do you know, my earliest memory of Paul Stewart, like, I remember it, but whenever I think of Paul Stewart, the one moment sticks out for me, not just that goal, Coventry. Do you remember, Coof, when he scored 2 goals at Sheffield Wednesday when it was snowing?
Yeah.
With the brown ball.
Yeah. Again, that was both assisted by Gascoigne, weren't they?
Do you know what, when it comes to assist, I know one of them was. I can't remember if both were, but look at that, a double nutmeg.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't beat that. Here's one. Alexander Hilton. Call me controversial, but give Dele the same contract, so he will leave at the same time, but add goal and assist bonuses and lower the weekly wage so he has some sort of inspiration to do well again. Do you think that would work?
No. Get him gone.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is as well, unfortunately, we live in the world now where back in the day, these players would probably do it because they'd be like, okay, so if I score, but the thing is, Dele Alli won't say, yeah, pay me less money. He'll see his basic salary go down. He'll just be like, no. So Joe, and with Dele, if this was possible, Alex, it should have been done 18 months ago. Not now. Not now. I cannot wait for him to go. I hope he's the first person out the door in January.
I mean, it's just
I've got to agree with that. I can't see anything working with him. It's just a complete breakdown of almost connection with the club now. You see it with the fans, the other players. When Mourinho came in, and one of the things that was on that Amazon documentary is Mourinho saying, the other players tell me you're really lazy. And you just got to think, if your own teammates are saying that to the incoming manager, there's not a lot of places to go there. It's not the sort of thing you want to hear at a club.
Well, Joe, I was talking with Denny as well. I watched something that I wish I hadn't today because it's wound me up even more. I don't know where, I think it might have been in our group that we have, where there was a tweet saying hurts so much. It's like a 2-3 minute video of the first couple of seasons of Dele, and you just see some of the skills, some of the finishes, some of the stuff he did, and it was just sensational. And it's just I can't remember seeing such a fall from grace from someone that had it all. And it's just literally, so do you know what? I reckon if we had him before social media, then he would have been the player that we signed. It's just he's unfortunately the big lights have been flashing, and he's attracted to the light. In my opinion.
Yeah, I've got to agree. John Fitzpatrick, all these players that are stealing wage of us year in, year out, need to go, i.e. Delhi and Winks. Couldn't agree more, personally.
Yep.
Well, easy question to answer, that one. Well, it's not a question, is it? Statement. You're quite right.
Guys, one thing I will ask you, because you two will know, or not say you will know, but you may have heard it at home. Do we have a time limit to when they say, right, Leicester's on or off?
I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, the game, the Man United game was cancelled today, so I think we'll hear on the day.
And it was it okay? Because see, this what pissed me off about this as well, and I've seen a lot of people starting to tweet it now. This is what's getting me as well. The fans don't know if they need to leave work early or take the day off, or if the coach is on, or if they get the train, or do they drive up, or
it's travel from another country.
Exactly. It's like I said. I mean, we know about the people that obviously with the Burnley and whatever. And I had a couple of friends from Canada that got to the Burnley game, and obviously what happened. But thankfully, I spoke to Mickey Hazard, and Mickey Hazard, the legend he is, hooked them up. You look at it, it's like people could be traveling at Christmas time as well, when it's a very family orientated time, and these people just don't know whether they need to come or start going to Leicester, or it's just not fair for the fact they just don't care about that aspect.
There's the lovely Gaguma again saying, while I was at the gym, they were doing a best Tottenham games on TV, and they showed the one where Delhi scored a lot against Real Madrid, and I was like, wow, missed that. Yeah, he did have some outstanding games. I've never been a Dele Alli fan, but I do appreciate when he has played well for us. And it's a mile apart from what we see now. We often use the phrase a shadow of their former self, but it really is the case with Dele Alli. There's just nothing there at all now.
Yeah,
it really, really is. I mean, I was a huge fan. Like when we originally signed him from MK, I was watching him a lot at MK Dons because I'd heard the talk about this kid. So I started watching it, and then I remember my best mate in the world was an Arsenal fan. Unfortunately, this is only a downside. I actually met him, Ben. So he lived in Potter's Bar, which is very near to Cop Foster's.
Yeah.
And I met him on a kibbutz in Beersheva.
Yeah.
Went to the same Jewish youth club and everything. I think there's about 5 years between us. Never seen him in my life. I just meet my best mate in the middle of the desert. Anyway, getting back to Delhi, when we signed him, he was like, ha, you're signing people from League One. Look how bad you've got.
Yeah.
And I was like, mate, listen, I'd normally agree with you and say this is a typical. But I said, this kid is special. And for the first 2 years, he was the best youngster in Europe by far.
Yeah.
By far. And now it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The only way I can say it is it's like, when, and I don't mean this in disrespect, when people who have got 20/20 vision have started telling they're going to go blind and they start losing their vision, and then obviously that's what it's been. It's just been like you could see the world in pure colour, and everything he touched was incredible. So now it's like he's lost his sight. It's horrible what has happened to him.
It's money and no guiding force in his life. He needs that person behind him to, like Sonny has, a guiding force to tell him where he's been going wrong, that boohoo sponsorships are not the be-all and end-all. You're a professional footballer. I mean, we saw the Sonny documentary when he didn't play a good game, but he was up the David Lloyd in Enfield with his dad, and his dad was making him do another 2 training sessions. That's the way it should be.
It's not even just that, mate. You look at it, and he came, and at one point he even said, right, I've cut all my sponsorship deals so I can focus on my football.
Yeah.
And it was like, right, I'm cutting this out so I can focus on my football. Then it was the women. Then it's Fortnite. Now it's Instagram. It's like whatever it is. And I said this at the beginning of the season. When he went to Dubai and he had to go against City, and I was like, oh, look. And he showed his 6-pack. I was like, very good. I said, let's have a look at the stats to see how many goals have been scored by a 6-pack. Let's see it. So you went and worked on it. It's just so frustrating every single time. I'm really, really. And now I want to stay and fight for my place. I'm sure you do on 150 grand a week. I'm sure you do.
I said some of the comments we're getting in. Got Derrick Hutchinson cancelled Delhi's contract, getting out to the door, save the money on this waste of space. I'm in that camp as well, I must admit. Mark Cousins then saying, I'll never hate Delhi and wish him all the best, but time is
Goal.
up. Time to go.
Don't go again.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
But the football's just outstanding.
it is. Yeah, Mark Cousins. Yeah, I agree. It's always horrible to players leave in a sort of cloud, or there's a bad taste left in the mouth. But the longer Delhi's here, the worse it's going to get with his relationship with fans, I think. So I agree. Time to go. Who else have we got?
Sean talking about Ndombele. Yeah.
There we go. How much time do we give to Ndombele to respect the club and wage, or are we getting sick of him already? What would you say, Ben?
Done with him. He is a disgrace to himself. If he had 50% of the brain of Harry Kane, he'd be the best footballer on the planet by far. The things he does with a football are utterly insane. The talent he has, but talent it doesn't give you a reason to act like a prick on the pitch. Like he is a disgrace to himself. He should be Paul Pogba times 50, but he's not even 1% of a Paul Pogba because he just does not have the attitude. He doesn't even have. He is a disgrace. I mean, it's another player given too much money too quickly, but he's shown brilliant glimpses. But he just needs to get him gone. He needs to be shown that no one wants him. But they need to get him out of the club as soon as possible. Send him back to the French league or to Italy. Just get rid of him somewhere.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Brian?
So with me, the way I look at it is when we signed him, listen, everyone can put a good YouTube video together, but not only YouTube, we saw what he did to Manchester City. So if he's in the right frame of mind, this guy, like Ben said, is absolutely extraordinary. Like he can do things with the ball very, very, very limited players could do. He has got such low sense. I've seen him do stuff like Dembele. Like he will have three people around him, and then like that, it's like those three players are behind him, and he has got all the skill in the world. But it goes again to show our scouting. Like yes, he played well, but every team he's been to, they've questioned his mentality and his attitude and his physicality and his fitness. And rather than delving into that and taking warning, we looked at the YouTube videos. Our scouting network looked at the YouTube videos and thought, right, yeah, this player. And they thought they could just. We seem to have a scouting network that think, right, I can just plonk a player in because he does this, and then it will just work. But it doesn't. And I completely agree with Ben that this guy has. And I've tried to back this dude. I've been one of his biggest supporters. I was at the Aston Villa game. I'm sure you were there, Ben, as well. He was woeful. He was absolutely woeful. But in the next game, he was sensational. And it's like, well, you can't just do that. And when you see him in Europe, when we lost to Mura, and he had his chance, this is now 4 managers. And if Conte, who said at the time, I wanted him at Inter, is now saying the opposite, then goodbye. Your attitude stinks. And that what really pisses me off with this whole thing, like Mark's just said, 200 grand a week. I don't know how, but bless Sonny, I don't know how when we offered him a contract, we offered him less than what Tanguy's on. I just don't understand it. I
think Sonny's on 200 now, I think.
It's 192, apparently, of all
Jesus
numbers.
Christ.
It's like, all right, yes, it's only 8 grand. I mean, 8 grand a week to us is phenomenal, like astronomical. But this is what Sonny's like. It's like, I say that whatever. I didn't think, you know what I mean? It's not a lot to him. But when you think that you bring him on and you're paying human son less, now obviously we don't know if it's official because we don't know what we get seen if it's right. But they're normally quite close with these kind of things. It just sickens me. And I think if you look at it, if we all look at the transfer market coming up and the 2 players that could probably get the most value for realistically, it's Tanguy and Delhi. So if we can get them out to generate funds, then, I mean, obviously if Harry Kane went, Harry Kane would be more, but he's not going in January. So I'm talking about realistic, viable targets that could leave the club. Those 2 hold the most value for us, I'd say.
That's quite damning against the club as well, that if you think Delhi's one of our most marketable assets for the transfer market, it just shows how bad the level as been with the signings we have made.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good points, and I think that figure 200k a week, that's the one that makes people so angry.
Yeah,
because you can see a Jack Clark who's not getting game time, of course, but I mean he didn't cost very much. He's plugging away, trying his best, but not getting anywhere. And people sort of you can easily forget that because he's not holding the club to ransom. But with Ndombele, that's massive wages by anybody's standards. Yeah, so I'm in total agreement. I can't wait to get rid of him. I just don't see any future. It's like I said, 2 years and he's not even fit still. It's what a waste of time.
Yep.
And all that talent, and we're just not going to see enough of it. So here we go. John Fitzpatrick again saying the same thing. Been here 2 years, can't get fit. All he does is slow us down and take too many touches. Yeah, that's true as well. And one of the things I had a gripe about at a point where I could see why a lot of fans were oohing and ahhing when he do a little showpiece move on the wing at times and beat 3 players. And I stopped and thought to myself, you know what, he's just skinned these 3 players and then come back to where he was in the first place and then played an easy 3-yard pass to somebody. So it's effectively done nothing.
Well, the thing I will say that just shows the class of this guy was that goal he scored against Sheffield United when he lobbed Ramsdale. That I mean, there's very, very few people that not only can A, think to do that, but B, have the capabilities to put it off. And that shows. Oh my God, me and Sean agree on something. Woohoo! Look at that! look at that!
I think the times I'm always
the Red Sea has parted.
Yeah, the times I seem to disagree with Sean is he's got his mindsets looking at the financial side of things with the likes of Levy, and I'm always looking at it from we started as a club that didn't even charge admission, and that's where my heart's always.
I think that's what the great divide is, Kuva. A lot of the times where there's a lot of fans. Whether you want to, we're all Tottenham Hotspur fans. There's no way I'm a bigger fan than you, and I go to more games than you, and you're a plastic. I don't agree with that, but there are a lot of people that look at it from the financial footing, saying, "Yeah, look at the club now compared to where we were." Blah blah. And then there's a lot of other people that look at it. Well, yeah, I look on the football pitch. I support a football team, and this is now. Don't get me wrong. There, everyone's right to their opinion. I think, like you said, Sean does look at it. Believe me, I haven't even got time to look in the financials. I just know what goes on. I can see what goes on because I look at all the pitch. I don't care what we do financially, or of course it's meant to benefit the club. But it's when we don't see it on the pitch that gets frustrating. Oh,
Sean, what do you think to this? Sean saying Frank Arneson was the last great DOF we had, in my opinion.
So Frank Arneson, whereas he was absolutely outstanding, we didn't get enough time to see what he could do because Chelsea came and nicked him. So we only got to see about 6 months, maybe I think it was about 6 months of him, and then Chelsea nabbed him. And if he had stayed, we may have had something special because that was under Yole, and that could have been. We saw where we were going with Yole. So if we'd had the right director of football, for me, out of all the ones we've had that Levy screwed, it's Paul Mitchell. I don't think he was actually director of football. It was some kind of other name they gave him, but it was a similar
scouting,
same kind of role. But Paul Mitchell again, who left because Levy wouldn't listen. You could see what he was doing with Poch, and that's when we were at our peak, let's say, in our modern era. But Frank Arneson could have, put it this way, out of Kamoli, Arneson, Baldini, this guy would have been head and shoulders.
Yeah, I agree, especially with when you're talking about Paul Mitchell there as well, because there's always, we never quite know what's going on at times. Other times it's made really obvious. And for me, it was I was seeing that Paul Mitchell's been put on gardening leave, and that says it all. He's not going to another job. It's just a pure fallout with Levy.
Yep.
And then you knew crystal clear what's going on there.
Exactly.
So. Well, we're building up to a Levy rage in a minute. Let's try and get off this.
Let's save that till January.
Yeah, indeed. There we go. Alexander Hilton and Ndombele is like a firework. It can go bang or it can be a boring fizzing sound. Yeah,
What's an analogy? Alexander, please put in the chat if you're allowing me to use that for future, because that is the greatest and on point analogy for Ndombele. So Alex, let me know if I can use that.
There's actually a part I'd add to that. I'd say sometimes the box is empty.
Yeah.
It goes completely missing sometimes. It's not even a fizz. Ben, sorry, go on.
My analogy for Ndombele is turning back at home on a Friday night at my house and finding there's no chicken soup on the table. That's my. I want to go home, except I'm already home. But so that's my analogy. If I turn up home and there's no chicken soup being made, I'm like, no, I've had it. This is not fun.
John Fitzpatrick, Spurs Talk Show. Do you have a YouTube channel, bro? I believe that's in the name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in his name.
Yeah, there you certainly find him there. Again, John Fitzpatrick. All the players we've sold for profit, and Levy says we don't have cash. Does he think we are stupid? Start off with Brian on that, shall we?
Do you know what it is? I think he's got such an ego problem, and I don't think he thinks we're stupid. I think he thinks he's just that much cleverer than us, if you know what I mean. It's just the same. But I think it's not. I do believe to some extent he's thinking that we are like falling for the smoke and mirrors and we're gullible. Let's say he thinks we're gullible and everything. But I think he thinks he is like, you could see him, especially during the lockdown when football wasn't being played in the stadiums. Or sorry, we couldn't go into the stadium. And he was in that stadium by himself with just the media or the few delegates that were allowed in. And you could see him, and nothing summed it up. I think we went away to Leeds and got battered last season. That was just after the Super League debacle. And you could see him showing his face there, right in his head. He's just so arrogant. He's just so up himself. He just thinks, I think he went on a power trip. Like he's always been on one, but having the stadium to himself and knowing he's not going to get the abuse or the fact, I think he genuinely thinks, not that we're stupid, but he thinks that he's like the smartest man in the world and we just don't see what he's doing. But trust me, Levy, we do. And you're going to see me again, my friend. You're going to see me again.
I mean, the real problem was when he furloughed all the staff during the pandemic. People saw partially it's true. I know. I mean, all my businesses furloughed their staff, but we're not multi-billion-pound companies. We're a small coffee shop. We're a human being that's there almost every other day. We couldn't physically afford. We haven't got £2 billion owners. So the fact that and it was like Gordon Ramsay's a good example. I mean, he sacked 500 people for his company. 500 people. And it's just like the money that Gordon Ramsay has just in his companies itself is atrocious. And he sacked 500 people. 500 people, not even getting furlough. But this was the day before, because big businesses know when like big things like the furlough scheme and all. So the day before furlough came in, he sacked 500 people.
Well, you know what it is as well. It's the one that really has got me with this whole cut is the airlines. The airlines, I mean, I've always, like airlines, you know, like when it came to the summer holidays, they put the price up, or if it's the World Cup in Russia, they put the price up. But during this time with COVID, when people have been trying to get back to their families that haven't seen their family for the lockdown or whatever, and they're struggling to get back home and make ends meet, and they jack the prices up. And then they have the nerve, like Richard Branson, to go and ask for a government handout and say we need support because we can't, our planes aren't getting used. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you offer everyone to go home for £1? So everyone can get to their home, or not £1, but you know, if you just did something to say people will get home, they would stay loyal to you forever. All right, you're not getting the full price that you are getting, but you're getting bums on seats. And without being or thinking the business side, the like when Twitter or anyone or if any one of these, like Twitter have come out recently said, right, you can't share pictures now unless you get the other person's. That's something like, do you know what? You're the first ones that have made a stand against this. Big up to you. The marketing of, if Virgin or Air Canada said, right, anyone that needs to get anywhere, £5 return or single, the publicity they would get for doing good would generate so much. But no, they go to the government for fucking handouts.
Yeah.
And it's just these multi-billionaires just sick of me.
But with airliners, if you pay a fiver and you'll get on the plane and say, I've now got the money I'll buy a couple of Kit Kats, I'll buy a drink, and then it's okay for me because drinks they're not free on air unless you go first class. And
Air Canada, they're free, mate.
That's good, but if you go on like
I'm
BA,
an alcoholic, so it don't really benefit me.
But like if you go on BA, like a Coke is, I mean, some of them, the BA, I think a Coke is complimentary or some of the things. But you could spend an extra fiver here or an extra five because you're not spending exactly. A flight to Los Angeles is £600 or something. One there and back on Air Norwegia, you would be able to spend that if you get 50% of your revenue. Instead of no percent, you'd rather make 50% of your total revenue than none. So it's just
and all the goodwill that goes with it as well.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. Quickly, just say Derrick Hutchinson and Ndombele not suited to the Premier League. Send him back to France. I think we're all in agreement here this morning, aren't we?
I actually think he'd do absolutely sensational in Italy. I think he would be an absolute world class. You got to remember. People forget as well. You look at people, and the Premier League's not easy to adapt to, let alone if you're not English or you don't speak English. Sorry, it's a lot to deal with because you're coming in the frenetic pace of it, or the frantic pace, should I say, of it. It's just, and the physicality of it, it's like nothing you'll ever see. So it's very, very hard for them. But I think the Italian or the French league would be most suited for him.
I agree. It's a gentler pace, and you can show your skill rather than having to worry about the work rate.
Harry Winks would be very good in Spain because he's sort of that quite technical. Harry Winks would be very good for a Valencia or Celta Vigo.
Old Vinny Sideways did very well when he went over to Spain.
Yep,
good old Vinny Sideways.
I liked him. He was just a fun character. Some important goals for us, anyway.
I still think the best password, the best nickname I ever heard when I was doing a watch along with John Cooper when I was back, and he talked about Harry Winks when he SpongeBob square pass. Yeah, and I don't know if anyone else had used it, but when he said it for the first time, I was crying.
Yeah, it's a good one, all right. Yeah, finishing off with the does Daniel Levy think we're stupid? I'd have to say I'm quite in agreement with you, Brian. I think he's just elevated himself above that level of everybody else, and I wonder how much he gets buoyed by seeing fans going, "Oh, Levy's a genius" and things like that. He's looking into the positive sides and ignoring people that are complaining about him. So he's getting this false level of almost godlike sort of attitude that he's the ultimate businessman. Of course, he can run a club, and he's.
Sorry, Cooper, you finish, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I've always that's why you get the fallout with the likes of Paul Mitchell, and that's why Steve Hitchin's still there, because he's a yes man, and that's what Levy likes to have around him. It's not what he needs, but that's the sort of person he likes to deal with. So that's always been my gripe with Steve Hitchin. It's he will have the same sort of lists as a Paul Mitchell have come out, because the scouting networks aren't really that vastly different. But of course, he's not prepared to say no, this one's not good enough. Whereas Paul Mitchell would say that, and it seems Paraticis of the same milk. He'll just say. No, we need top quality defender here. We're not a budget. So that gives me some hope. But how long is it going to last? Because as we say, the old gardening leave seems to crop up for people that don't agree with Daniel.
Exactly. And the other thing I'll just add to that very quickly is what you get with the people that also look at the financials, and I'm not talking every single one. They go on but look at the amount of jobs he's creating by opening this and doing that and doing this. He's helping the economy, and he's helping the area of Tottenham. I'm like, well, yeah, I understand that, but I don't support Tottenham, the area. I support Tottenham fucking Hotspur. And it's all well and good you make this hotel. I mean, I go on about this hotel. Right now, if he says the money's not available, I've got an idea. Pull the fucking hotel plans until you've invested in the team. Because I've been going to Spurs, I'm 42 now. I've been going since I was 8 years old. And I know a lot of fans that go season ticket holders for years, for generations, whatever. Not once have I heard someone say, do you know what? I wish there was a hotel here. Not once. That's including away fans.
Yeah.
So you're getting it here, and it's not like when you. And I hate to say for people that haven't been to Tottenham, staying in the hotel may be very nice, but I guarantee you're going to be paying for like a city view of London. I can guarantee you it's not the greatest of views. I can get apart
the
from if
Chit
you
King.
you can look at Chit King and you can look at the stadium, and that's about. I mean, obviously, I don't know how high it's going to be, so the higher it is, you may get. But it's like, why do we need this hotel?
I'd like to get to this point from Alexander Hilton, because you can see fans buy a bit. Well, the reason is, I don't want to make this a political debate, but the local political party of Tottenham have made it impossible for people to park in Tottenham. So everyone has to go straight to the stadium. The local council have made it physically impossible for me to go to Uncle Jim's Kebabbery, to go to the sweet shop I went to every week, to go to the McDonald's, to go here. So what people now have to do is they have to get the train to go to the game because it's impossible to park, which means all the local businesses in the area are suffering. Because instead of going to one of the local kebab shops or the Chili's or, again, Uncle Jim's Kebabbery, you're going straight to the ground and giving all the money to Daniel Levy. So the area is actually suffering because no one can park. Like we used to park Cowper Road, where the Costa is now.
Yep.
Every week we would park on Cowper Road. We'd go here. We'd go there. We'd go to the old Italian bakery, Salvatore's. We'd go here. We'd go there. We'd go to about 5 or 6 different businesses on the way to the game. Now you have to go straight to Tottenham because you can't park anywhere. It's physically impossible. So the local government has physically made they've made Levy an evil. They've made him be an evil genius, but an evil genius with now like you have to go to get a beer there because there's nowhere else you can go to. There's nowhere else.
Yeah, the only other thing I will say on top of that as well is obviously you have got the pubs that are available, but obviously when you go to these pubs, like I said, I went to when I was back, I went 3 times, didn't spend a penny in there. People were actually buying me drinks like Coke and everything because I won't give him my goddamn money. But this is what I'm saying to people: the way that it's done in that stadium is it's all about speed. The reason that fills up from the bottom so quickly is so they can make multiple times rather than pouring it and making all these steps. They just go bang, 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 and it saves the queue, saves money, more money coming in. But there are the other pubs, but the pubs are rammed. The pubs are rammed when you go to the Bricklayers, the Bill Nick, the Number 8, the Antwerp Arms. You're waiting like 20, 30 minutes for a beer. Or for whatever you're getting to drink, and then to go to the toilet, especially with the guys, there's a huge queue. So the way that stadium, like I said, when you go inside, it's like you're in an airport terminal with all the restaurants and everything and whatever. It's insane. But he's done this, and that's how we cut him off. People stop spending in there. Don't go spend in the shop. You think, oh, what can I do? What can it help? And it's kind of like those people, and I'm one of them, that when it comes to, I'm not voting, and they're like, oh, when your vote makes a difference. And I'm like, yeah, I want to, whatever. But if people, even if, like, let's say, someone said to me, one of my very, very good friends, if you look at it, that stadium holds 62,000. Let's take 10% of that away. So without 6,000, in fact, let's take 10,000 away because of obviously the corporate, the away ends, the stuff, whatever. So you're down to 52,000. If 10% of that said, right, I'm not spending money, I'm not going to spend money at the shop, I'm not going to spend money in the stadium, that's 5,200 people. Whether you come to the protest or not, if you did come to the protest or where we are, that's 5,200 people. That's a big difference. Even if you take 10% of that, you're looking at 552 people. 552 people that don't go into that shop and spend money, or don't go into that stadium and spend money. The difference and the impact that will have over an amount of time. I mean, when they ring the tills up at the end of the game and they saw 552 people, and I won't see that, but 552 new people didn't spend anything, they lose a lot of money and they will flag it. And that's how it starts. But yeah, let's try and get off Levy because it's Dermot's son's or daughter's birthday. So very, very happy birthday. I don't want to ruin it by going on a huge Levy rant.
Oh, thank you, Gaguma, on behalf of Dermot. Unfortunately, his daughter tragically was lost many years ago. It's just a very painful time of year for Dermot, but I know he'll appreciate the best wishes anyway.
Well, as Ben and I would say in Hebrew, or we wish him a long life.
Yeah,
absolutely. Heart goes out to you, Dermot. I know things are very tough for a lot of people. But you have it a lot harder than some, and same with Bob as well, our mate. Perhaps we haven't got any further news on Bob at the moment, have we, Brian?
So like I said, I put in the group chat. Like I said, I would always use this moment just to say that Kim is just an incredible woman. I love that woman. She is like a sister to me now. She's incredible. She has been doing absolutely everything, and some of the a lot of the reason I've come, or everyone knows, the main reason I'm coming home is Bob. I can't see him at the moment when I get back or whatever, but the main thing is to help Kim, because Kim is doing absolutely everything. But the last that we had with Bob, you guys will know because I put it in the group, is he's now caught pneumonia. So he's fighting pneumonia and COVID right now. Thankfully, what Kim was saying to me yesterday is they haven't said that his heart, which was the huge concern for us all, is not actually being affected. It's more the COVID and the pneumonia. And then he is currently on 60% oxygen. Now, for us, well, Kim went into it a bit. Obviously, that's 3 times the amount that everyone here is doing right now, and people that are fully functional. But in COVID terms, being as low as 60% is quite a good thing. It's when it gets into the 80s and then obviously 100 where you're like, whoa. But whatever way you want to look at it, I still can't gauge which way to take it. There's no decline from a couple of days ago, but there's also no improvement. So people, you can look at that 2 ways. Either yes, that's good because he's still stable, or the fact that it's not going up, or there's no, also concerns me. But I think that's just the way I'm looking at it. You can look at it in other ways, but like I said, hopefully he'll be okay today, because obviously it was his dad's funeral today. He couldn't obviously go, but he would have been watching it on the link that he sent me that I watched. Obviously that would have been very, very, very hard for him anyway, but not being able to be there. But hopefully he'll stop pulling through now, and hopefully he'll just keep fighting like he has been. And hopefully the dream is whilst I'm with him, please God he comes out, and then we'll go live together and surprise everyone that he's here. But yeah, he'll keep fighting. But that's where we're at right now. And anyone like you two will know from the groups we're in, if people want to reach out and know what's going on with Bob, please feel free to reach out to me on social media. Send me a private message on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. And if you have me on WhatsApp, message me. And also, as these two will verify, once I get talking to you and I know who you are, whether it be via social media or whatever, I will give you my number for WhatsApp to stay in communication. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me. But yeah, at the moment, that's where we're at, Kuva.
I'll tell you what, Brian. Bob couldn't have a better mate than you.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, he's just a fantastic guy. I'm lucky to have him.
Yes, good. Yeah. The pneumonia on top of everything. That's obviously such a worry. But
yeah,
at least we know he's got people in his corner there for him. That's the main thing. So all our thoughts with him and Kim at the moment, and yourself, mate.
Thank you.
It's just a horrible situation for all of us. Dermot as well going through terrible time too. It's we need some football back to cheer us up at the moment, don't we?
to cheer us up or depress us, but it will be something to depress us rather than the tragedies that are unfortunately going on. Yeah,
that's true enough, mate. Ooh, where do we go from there? What should we talk about? Should we try and lighten the mood a bit? And
let's try and lighten the mood.
Let's see. Supposing the madness happens and Levy opens up his wallet in January.
You've gone from a change it to delirious. Okay, so we're okay.
Yeah, let's go with
So we're doing a fantasy movie. Okay,
it's the Conte effect. Oh no, let's do that one first. It's not
I
even
call it the
like
scene at the end of The Godfather.
What's going to happen if we don't get the signings that perhaps we should be getting? What's going to happen? I know what's going to happen with a certain Mr. Daigle, but what's going to happen with Conte? What's going to happen with Paratici? How do we think they're going to react? Let's start with Ben first, because I'll let Brian build up to one.
I think Paratici's here for the long haul. I think he's part of the new project for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, which is why he's been given the job of managing director, not as director of football. He is officially managing director of the football club. So I think he's actually possibly in charge of the football side of things, which we all hope he is, because he's a pro in the game. And I hope for my own personal reasons, being closer to the football club and knowing people that know him and getting meetings with him organised very, very soon. But hopefully Paratici can change the club. Hopefully this is the building blocks. And when Sean's... I don't see Conte leaving under Paratici if he's given the money. If Paratici gives him the money, Conte will stay. I see it's very possible Conte could be a 3-4 year appointment if Paratici gives him the money he needs. So that's my opinion on it. So hope.
Oh, it's that killer word again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hope. Brian, now let's brace ourselves quickly, and then right, off we go.
So do you know what it is? I've been saying it the whole time. I can see the excuses. January, it's the transfer window. It's the hardest one. And now, like I said at the beginning of this stream, the money might not be coming in due to a lockdown if it does go on, or not a lockdown, but games being postponed or whatever. I can see this all. Listen, I've said it from the get-go. I don't think Conte walks in January. I don't think it happens. I think the one thing he will do is he will call Levy out in January, like he did after the Mura game. He will put him in such an uncertain and a nervous place where the tension will start going towards him again, towards the parasite. And then if he's not back in the summer, he will walk. He will walk. You saw how quickly he did it days after Inter Milan won the league. What I see he'll want to do is he will want to say, right, you haven't backed me. I'm going to call you out for not backing me, but I've taken this job. I'm going to show how good I am by getting this team as far as I can go this season, whether it be an FA Cup, whether it be a Carabao Cup, whether it be a Champions League spot or whatever it may be. And then if he's not backed, he'll walk. And if you look, we've got it to back it up. If you look at Chelsea and Inter Milan, the two reasons he left was arguments with the board. Not that the players weren't good enough, not that they weren't backed, because he was. You tried to sell some of my players. And you tried to sell, or you didn't bring in the players I wanted. So how can I do my job if you won't let me do it? Goodbye. And if you look at it, both those teams that he left love him, the fans. It's not like the Nuno, whatever. Paratici, I agree with Ben. I think he is here for the long haul. But if Conte leaves, he'll be like, well, I've just given you the best guy in the world, and you didn't let me do what I do to make him what he is. So I think we could be in for I think he'll give it a couple of seasons, but we've all seen it. It's normally a couple of seasons with a director of football, and then they leave for the reasons we know. So all I will say is we with the January transfer window, and I've been saying this recently, these deals need to be in place now. So January the 1st, the window opens, these players come in. Now, we know, I'm not saying on January the 1st, but within the first week, because especially with this COVID outbreak, we do not have a big squad. Apparently, there's 13 players ready for Thursday. Should they play 13? Can't even fill the full sub bench. And that's, again, strength in depth or quality. So it's even more necessity to get these deals done early. Not let's drag this out for 3 weeks and then sign them at midnight on the last day. These deals need to be done in the first week. So yeah, I think Conte walks in the summer if he does walk, not January.
I'll tell you what, there's one thing there where you're saying about Conte would make it so impossible for Levy in January if he doesn't get backed. Half of me's thinking that might be worth it. That might just be putting some more nails into Levy's coffin, as it were. But could we put up with the pain if the the longer game gets us results? It's unlikely, isn't it? But it's a thought.
You're putting an oil tanker on the fire, and I will be there to light the match.
Brilliant. Okay, well let's try instead then. If the impossible does happen, what sort of how much do you think we were likely to spend if we're going to do anything in January? Do you think it's anywhere near the rumoured sort of
You
money?
just asked the same question, but in a different way. That's exactly what
yeah, kind of it is, isn't it? So there's nothing coming there at all. I'm just saying, let's do fantasy transfer window.
I saw that.
Is there any point? I don't know.
As long as we get Brozovic, I really want Brozovic at Tottenham. I don't see it happening, but if we have money to spend on one player, it's got to be a Brozovic type player to get his foot on the ball and start playing those passes and get those fullbacks up the pitch. We really need someone in that middle of the park who's got leadership qualities like a Højbjerg, but he's a tank. He is an absolute machine.
Let's go for that one with Brian then. If it's just one player, who would be your dream player to get in January?
Dusan Vlahovic. I put it this way, I can completely understand again why Ben's going down that avenue. But for me, Harry Kane needs competition.
Yeah,
he needs someone to come in to say, right, listen, I've come in. What if you're playing one up front, I want your shirt and I'm coming for it. And we need to stop doing it. That if he does pick up an injury, what we do is we then move Son out of position to make him there, and then we make that position that Son takes weaker. He needs competition. The way we get Harry Kane back as well is by resting him, and I don't mean resting him now because of his poor form. I mean throughout the season, resting him in games he does not need to be a part of. And you look at whether we have this debate's been going on all season about Kane and his attitude. You look at Dusan Vlahovic, who's a young kid who could have gone the Dele Alli route and just been a nightmare, but he said, you know what, like Modric in his last season, you know what, I'm not signing another contract. You've got me for 18 months. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do and show prospective buyers this is what I'm capable of. And he has just been unbelievable. I believe if I had to, I can't. As I've said, players that we seem to get will be linked with. Some people say we need a centre back, a right back, a left back, a creative midfielder, and for all those, I can say that I think a few people have a certain player in mind. There's someone like Brozovic who's a clear favourite with our fans, but every time you ask any Spurs fan what striker do you want, there's only two words that come out, and it's Dusan Vlahovic. Every single fan, I won't accept anyone else. Like, all right, if we sign someone with quality, yeah, that's us. But if you're looking for put it this way, I want to do Sam Vlahovic, we'll end up with a guy from Norwich.
Or Morata.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Guys, I'm going to be right back with you, but I'm dying for a cigarette, so I'm just going to be off the phone, off the camera for a couple of minutes. I'll be watching I'll be watching you guys on the phone.
I think we should probably wrap it up before too long, unless you're happy to carry on.
Mate, listen, I've got 3 hours until I've got my pre-flight COVID test. So,
I don't think we'll be on for that long.
Well, I tell you what, my wife actually starts her day at 8:30 my time, and it's now 7:45, so I've got till then. But I will be back in 3 minutes.
We'll see how it goes. Perhaps we'll fend off a few questions from people watching. Yeah. Has anybody got something on their mind, or even want to join in with us on the channel? You're welcome to. We're just all about chilling out in the mornings, aren't we, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, it's the way it goes. It's the best thing about the morning show. You can join in, have a chat. It's almost like being in a pub, but it's a coffee shop, and you can actually have it. It's here to build a community, have some chats, all become friends. Whether it's with Gaguma or Celia Agent or Mark Cousins or John Fitzpatrick, anyone in the chat's welcome to join us. Just have a chat and just have some fun.
Alexander Hilton again, that Alvarez from Argentina. Yeah, it's a name that keeps cropping up. I don't know a lot about him. I've not been doing my usual football scouting that I used to and watching loads of football from around the around the world anymore. It takes a lot of your time up when you start doing one of these channels. It's one to keep an eye on because he's been linked so many times, and there's more and more people talking about him. He sounds an exciting prospect. Celery agent saying we'll get about 40 million with 30 million from sales in January. I think that's probably quite a realistic amount to be looking at, isn't it? It's not asking the world. That to me, perhaps that's enough to prize Vlahovic away. Perhaps the pulling power of Conte.
It's 70 for Vlahovic. The man is he's 70 million. I mean, he's worth every penny of that. He's 22. He's lighting it up. He's an absolute barnstormer. Yes, Mark. If you've got Google Chrome on your phone, you just need the StreamYard link, which is in the chat, and then you can join.
Do you need me to link it? You
can link the chat again.
Let's just see I'm actually linking the right one. Yeah, that looks right. There you go. The link's in chat again, Mark. Please come on.
But Vlahovic he is something special. He is unbelievable. Against the hard-ass defences of Italy, to see him absolutely. And if we don't get him, someone else will. He'll go to a Bayern and play with Lewandowski, or he'll go to a Chelsea, or a United even if they've got them. I don't see United buying a second striker, but there are plenty of teams that need a Vlahovic, and we're one of them. So if we've got the money to spend, we could quite easily just blink and then have him. He is worth every penny of that. Yeah,
I agree. He could shape up to be one of these once in a generation sort of players. Forgotten who it was now, likened him to a young Ibrahimovic because he literally does everything. Perhaps it was one of the usual in the nose. I can't remember now anyway. But
I think it might have even been Brian, possibly.
Maybe. Yeah. There's talk of it. You could, as soon as somebody mentioned Ibrahimovic, I could see what they meant. He's
big, tall, strong.
Could really puts himself in the box. He's got a proper physical presence there. That would give us so many options. And like you said, 70 million. I think he's worth breaking the bank for on that. If we only get the one player, I think we just can't afford to miss out on him. I mean, we've got other options to Brozovic, but when it comes to up front, I mean, Alvarez, the name's mentioned, but Vlahovic is the one that's making you sort of drool at the moment. It's
I'm done with Argentinian footballers, I'm afraid. Every single one of them we've had are injury prone. They haven't shown the quality they're worth. So I think I'm done with Argentina. Same with French players, really. The French players we've been buying are absolutely shocking, and we seem to be only buying the ones with poor attitude. And with there are too many Argentinian players in this squad, because it means we lose half our squad when there's an Argentina game, because they're so patriotic about playing for Argentina. They always go, even when they're told not to go, they go anyway. So we need to get a few more eggs in the basket from different. So I would have Manor Solomon from Shakhtar Donetsk, because he seems like a quality player there. He's playing on that wing position, which we're short in the wing positions for the most part of real quality, because I would get rid of Bergwijn in January. If I put a £25 million bid in for Bergwijn, he's on the plane. There you go. London City Airport, off to Amsterdam.
Here we go. We've got Mark Cousins joining him. Let's just bring him into chat. Morning, Mark. How are you?
Very well, Kuba. How are you?
Yeah, doing well here first. First time
I
see
you.
Yeah,
I'm only on my iPhone.
Yeah,
we can hear you perfectly.
Doing very well. Yeah. And what's on your mind, mate?
Well, I'm just enjoying the chat.
All right,
I definitely want that Vlahovic.
What do you make of the transfer window on the whole? Do you think we're going to get a really sizable sum to spend?
Well, let's hope so. It hasn't happened in previous ones, has it?
It hasn't, has it? It's notoriously difficult anyway. But when you got Levy as your chairman, you're lucky if you can get anything at all.
I'm not saying nothing about Levy. I don't want to upset Brian.
Hello, Mark, mate. Mark, how are you?
Very well, Brian. Yourself?
Yeah, pleasure to meet you, my man. Pleasure to meet you.
And you.
So what do we think? what are you looking at? Sort of, what would be your guess if we had a kitty for January?
Well, I'd hope it'd be somewhere up round, well, certainly enough to get Vlahovic and maybe somebody else as well.
So you think Vlahovic, if we're going at, let's say, 70 million and let's say 40 or 50 million on somebody else, because we're looking at quality, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, we don't want no bargain basement signings anymore, do we?
No, we certainly don't.
We could do without, no disrespect to the man, but Joe Rodon.
Yeah,
we don't need defender. We want someone who's ready to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think Conte's hinted at that, hasn't he, already? He seems to want the ready-made players and then the academy players to be the ones coming through, rather than us spending small amounts on promising youngsters that might develop into players. He wants the ones he can depend on immediately. So if Vlahovic is one, who would be your other choice then, mate?
I know we need a defender. Well, yeah. Well, we need a defender, definitely, I would say.
How about
someone in midfield.
How about the likes of Botman in defence? He's a name that keeps propping up. He's a sort of budget version of a Bastoni. Very, very cultured player on the ball. Can certainly defend, advance with the ball. He would fill in on that left side of the defence, as far as I'm seeing it.
Yeah. Well, we need defenders who can keep the ball, not just hoof it up the field. Yeah. So we can sort of play out from the back.
Yeah, exactly. I agree totally. I'm sure Brian will be in on that as well.
So do you know what it is? I think we do need another defender as partner for Romero. But if you say to me right now, let's say we got two players in. For me, the two that we need are obviously Vlahovic and then a creative midfielder of some sort. I don't have a particular name of a player or whatever that I'd say, yeah, that's the one I want. And I think we do need another defender for sure. But I think we've got enough cover there. They may not all be brilliant and of the quality of Romero, but there's 5-6 defenders there that can, if you talk about, when I say 5-6, you've got people like Davies and Tanganga that can go to left back or can go to right back respectively if they need. So I think the cover is there. And it's kind of, I think if we get a defender, in my opinion, it's kind of like, do you know when we got Reguilon, it's like we weren't getting a left back, but if he comes available, we're getting him. I think that's what we kind of need to do with a defender, in my opinion, right now, because I think, and Celery Agents just said it, a guy that I love and I've always harped on about is Ward-Prowse. Now it's going to be nigh on impossible to get him out, but not only will he dictate in his passage range is great, but he adds set pieces to our game, which is something we're severely lacking. So if I had two, it would be a striker and attacking a creative midfielder. And then if a defender becomes available, like let's say a Skriniar, then you go and get him. Then you go and get him regardless. But I think the defender, I don't know how Mark feels about it, it's something we have enough cover for and probably could get through the season to and then address in the summer. Whereas the two positions I'm talking about, we have no one. No one has cover. No one has cover for striker, obviously, or competition. And for creative midfielder, there's just no one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ben Davis seems to be, he's turned into a different man.
Completely.
I'm not sure what's gone on with him. And Sanchez is a mistake waiting to happen most of the time. But I think the way Conte's got him playing now, we're doing better. We ain't conceded a goal for, is it 4 games?
So let's have a look. Norwich 3-0.
Oh, no. Someone scored 1, didn't they? Leeds scored 1.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're on the back of 2 clean sheets.
The defence is 1,000 times better than it was.
Could you imagine Mark saying that after 3 or 4 games with him? And if I was to say to you, Davies, Dyer, and Sanchez look 1,000 times, and I agree with you, 1,000 times better. Could you imagine that if I had said to you, right, gone back 3 weeks ago and said, right, for the next 2 league games, those are going to be the back 3 clean sheets and great performances, and they look like different players, you would have said, what drugs are you on, wouldn't you?
I would have certainly asked if I could have some.
They'll make an entirely different morning show, mate.
Well, no. I'm not saying I take drugs or nothing, but like, well, I know you're a reformed like drinker, but I'd have certainly asked to send some of that stuff over here as well.
Yeah, exactly. Believe me, if someone had said that to me, up or said whatever you're drinking, I need some.
Yes.
Obviously alcohol has obviously improved in my time, and I need to be drinking from that glass. But
there were 3 players that I think were on most people's list for straight out the door. It's incredible. It actually feels good to be saying that, because we get sick of just saying this about our players. They're rubbish, get rid of. It's nice to actually see some of them turning it around.
Mark, we'll have to get you on my channel. Mark, do you follow my channel?
I do. Tottenham on tour.
There you go. Fantastic. You know what? It's so great. This is what I love with, like I said before, with people that support everyone. Now, I knew I'd seen you in the chat, but I just couldn't remember, because obviously there's so many people that could get in the chats. It's like, okay, but yeah, Mark, we'll be in contact. We'll definitely get you on our show for sure.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
No,
and Couva, if you're ever about, mate, I can come to Dorchester and grab a beer with
you. You're only up the road, aren't you, mate?
I certainly am.
I'm teetotal nowadays, mate, but I can make exceptions every now and then.
Oh, okay.
I used to have quite a drink problem as well, but I've actually managed to get myself back to the point where I can enjoy just having 1 or 2 and leave it. Whereas it used to be, I couldn't. As soon as I started, that was it until I was out cold. We could certainly do that at some point. Obviously, couldn't meet up with Brian for the same, because Brian will be straight down to Levy's office with.
Listen, you've got to know when you're alcohol. When you drink, whether you're an alcoholic or not. Obviously, they say mixing your drinks is horrible. You should see what us alcohol-free people do after we had a few Cokes and J2Os, mate. When we start mixing those two, whoa, fireworks, my friend.
Natural sugar rush.
Yes.
Yeah, get on it. Anyway, we're coming up to 2 hours of streaming so far. I mean, I think we should be knocking it on the head soon. But since Mark's on, anything else you'd like to talk about, mate?
Nothing. I just wanted to come on. That's all.
Fair enough. What do you make of the COVID stuff then? With more games getting called off, should we have a little break till the new year, maybe?
To be honest, I mean, the government don't even really know what's going on. You get Boris on the telly saying this, that, and the other, but do they really know what's going on? Or the last time he was on the telly, all he kept saying is, "Go and get your booster," or if you hadn't had your booster, get your 1 or 2 jabs done. That's all he keeps on about, is the injection. Having your vaccines.
They don't. Sorry, go on.
I mean, to be honest, and I think a lot of people in this country are getting fed up with it now. We've been in so many lockdowns, and people are just sick to death of it.
Yep.
Especially when you see the likes of the government having their little party.
That certainly doesn't help matters, does it?
It certainly doesn't. You can't respect them to do the right thing. Why should anybody else, really?
No, I mean, the rest of us, we couldn't even go in, in the boozer and that last Christmas, and they're having a right jolly up.
Exactly. It's ridiculous times here. I mean, one thing I will say, over here in Canada, they seem to have. There still was problems, but they seem to have managed it better. But the thing with Canada as well, even though, and this numbers blow my mind. England can fit into Canada over 40 times, but we have 27 million less people than you.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of Canada is mountains and whatever, so that's completely understandable. But
fishing.
But you know what I mean, Mark? And it gets to the point where obviously, because the distance, and so it takes a while for the virus to spread across people, because there's loads of but they seem to have had a handle on it. Like when I remember back home in England, when it was rife, it was like 50,000 new cases a day and everything. They were going mad here if they're like 1,500. It was like, oh my God, this is an outrage. This is and I was like, there's like 50 odd thousand more people per day back home that are catching it. But there's just countries dealing with it differently now. Obviously, this new Omicron, I can't even, is that how you pronounce it? Omicron? Mate, do you know what?
Yeah.
Like Mark said, I am so past it. I've said to people, like my wife, bless her, she's very, or has been very, like a lot of people, and rightly so, have been very COVID conscious, and they don't want to go on public transport, or they don't want to do this. And I completely get that. I've said to my wife, you know what? I'm so done with this. I'll go lick everyone that I meet. I don't give a fuck. I'm vaccinated. I'm done with it. Listen, I've been done with it for ages. Yes, it's. Don't get me wrong. I'm not playing it down or saying that because we know how bad this has been. But I'm just so fed up of it. I'm so fed up. I want people to have their lives back and not live in fear.
Sorry, you just got me at the go and lick everybody.
Mate, I literally, like, at the airport, I'll be there. I'll like, nice to meet you. I just don't. It's got to the point where I'm just like, it's taken. You know, like when they're with terror attacks, they're like, we won't live in fear. We won't. That's what. This is how I'm feeling. It's like I'm not gonna. I'll get on public transport. Yes, I'll wear the face mask and I'll do everything that we need to do, but I'm not letting this dictate my life. The way, and other people that have done, they're totally within their right. I don't think they're in the wrong. I don't think I'm in the right, but it's got to the point where I'm just in the mindset where I'm not letting it affect me. My mum said when this first came out, do you know what it's going to be like? This is going to come into the world now like the cold and flu. It's just to be something that from now on we live with. You're going to have the vaccinations like the flu jab every single year or whenever to keep you not immune, but to save you from getting it as bad as it could be. And it's just that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, there's sensible things that should have been done a long time ago. So, in a lot of countries, it's progressed too far too quickly, and we're having long-term effects that perhaps could have been lessened a little if we got all the procedures in place a long time ago. I looked at New Zealand when the breakout started. The first whiff of it they got, that they had all their borders locked down.
Yep.
It was of course they were eventually going to succumb to it. I mean, they are getting cases more and more by the day, but they had all that time they'd bought themselves to get the health service in place, get the support needed. Everybody knew what the plan was going to be. And you look at us with our open borders for 11 weeks or whatever it was, reacted way too late, especially since in our country it's also crowded, like as Brian was saying. Compare it to Canada with these huge, vast, wide open places. Well, we're the ones that should have been cracking down on it, one of the strongest. Same with America, very, very lax with it. So major cities with huge population and so little they did about it.
I just have to put it into perspective when I say about how big this country is, to try and put it into a way people can really understand. It is quicker for me to fly home to London than it is for me to fly to the other side of the country.
Yeah, it's mad.
That's how. And as you were saying with New Zealand, at the turn of the year, I was working for an Australian company, and Australia as well. They just like the same as New Zealand, but what they did in Australia and New Zealand, if one person caught it, their entire neighbourhood went on lockdown for 2 weeks. Like literally, that whole neighbourhood, they gave you like a catchment area, and it was like you're not leaving the house for 2 weeks. You're locked down. Whereas obviously other countries went different ways, and yeah, it's just crazy times.
It is, it is. Welcome back, Ben.
Thank you. I had a morning rush. That was absolutely mad having to do that.
Excellent.
5 coffees plus 4 bags of coffee.
What was on the menu this morning then?
Mostly flat whites.
Ah, fair enough.
Mochaccino. You do mochas, don't you?
I can do a mocha.
There we go.
Sure.
If you're in here in time for me still having it, you can try the Christmas blend as well. It's absolutely delicious.
Oh, there you go. Well, I'll make sure I'm down. Mark, I've got a question for you, actually, because I always love to know this. Who's your favourite ever Spurs player that's been in your lifetime? So it's got to be.
No. Well, I think I put it in this chat. For the last 30 years, I've been a type 1 diabetic.
There, I know exactly where you're going.
And so there's only one, and I met him.
Oh, do you know what? What a gentleman that man is.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Ambassador in so many ways for all sport.
To me, the biggest influential Spurs player. If anyone wants to say who is a role model out of the club, that man is the first name that comes out of my. Not only for what he done on the field, and like Mark was saying, has had to go through everything with his insulin and everything. Not only has he gone through the fractured eye socket of what happened with John Fashanu, he's played in every position for Spurs apart from goalkeeper, every position, and then it's the work that he's done outside of football with Spurs. I mean, he is one of the main reasons that Gaza is still on this planet.
Yeah.
His support and love for Gaza is, and then what you see, like he's doing now when he's phoning people during COVID and spending hours with he is just a blessing and a wonderful, wonderful man. Like Marcus said, if anyone comes into contact with him, the most genuine, down to earth, lovely guy that's got time for everyone.
I'll tell you the story. It was March 1991 that I was in hospital for a week, and they found, they said, look, you're diabetic, you've got to start injecting yourself. And I was like, what's going on? I'm too young. I was 20. And then in May that year, obviously, he goes to get the FA Cup, and famous commentary, it says, as he's walking up the stairs to collect it, it says, oh, Gary Mabbutt battled against diabetes all his life. And I thought, well, if he can do it, so can I.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Inspiration, that man.
When did you meet him? Was it soon after that, Mark, or was it
No,
later on?
It was a couple of years ago. There was something on one of the Facebook groups. There was an evening with Gary Mabbutt.
Okay.
Now, I live in Somerset, and it was in London somewhere. I'm trying to think of the name of the place. But it was somewhere in London, so I booked into a travel lodge, and I went down there and met him. There was him, Eric the Viking, and Paul Stewart. Now, Paul Stewart's been through it as well.
Has he not? What? Do you know what? He's another one. I mean, you look at it. He was. I think he may have been the first footballer that came out with this, wasn't it? When the whole story broke, he was the first one to. And you look at it. That in the world is rife, but obviously in football it hadn't been. So these stars that come out and say, "Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to stand up for what's right, and I'm going to put myself out there," where you just know he would have been greatly supported by the people that have got sense, but then you get the trolls, and he openly put himself up there, and then he's lost his wife recently as well, due to cancer. Unfortunately, I think it was cancer, but and again he's on social. He's very responsive on social media as well. He's a genuine, and it's a great shout, Mark, because he's a great ambassador for standing up for what's right and supporting others. So yeah, it's amazing actually. I didn't even think of him. He goes right up there on par with Gary.
Yeah. It was Willesden. It was Willesden Workingmen's Club. I met them.
There you go.
And the day I was meant to be coming home, I got back to Paddington to get the train back down this way. And there was, I don't know, Storm Summit had come through, and I couldn't get home.
Oh, jeez. Typical.
It
Blame
took me
Levy.
about...
It was Levy's fault.
Yeah, it was. It was all his fault. It took me 7 hours.
There you go.
He's just an awesome bloke. I only met him briefly enough to shake his hand. Didn't have time to chat, unfortunately. But there was just something about him. As soon as you see him, you feel warm on the inside. It's Gary Mabbutt. He's
definitely.
Just such a well-loved bloke.
I'll tell you a very quick story about him. So this is how much of a nice guy he is. So when I think it was 10, 11, maybe, I think 10 or 11. So we're talking 89. Yeah, 89 it was. One of my friends, or my parents' best friends, who lived just down the road from us, like 9 doors away, one of their sons broke their leg. And the sister of my mum's best friend was a season ticket holder at Tottenham and somehow got hold of Gary Mabbutt. And this is before social media. We're talking 1989. Told Spurs the story. I was just round their house one day, just relaxing, watching whatever we were watching, Simpsons or some channel or whatever. Knock at the door. Who is it? Gary Mabbutt. I've come to see Andrew. Let me sign his cast. Spent an hour and a half just talking with us. And obviously, I was like a little starstruck. But that's the type of man this man is.
Yeah. It makes you proud to follow Spurs. You just realizing he put on the shirt of the club I love, and he does all that for people. And he's one of those rare people that's universally loved around other fans as well. That says an awful lot. Any other legends we've met, perhaps where we're not expecting to? Or...
I mean, I went to Brian will know this place. Nearby where the training ground was, there used to be a little Italian restaurant called Little Italy, a long time ago, Chigwell, and we were in there because it was very popular at the time. I was sitting there at a birthday. It was a random day, and then suddenly in comes big Stefan Freund, absolutely this massive smile on his face. Now, absolutely starstruck because it was just shoot. My mother brought me over to him, and I sat down with Stefan Freund for like 15 minutes at his table and had a chat with him. He signed my little blue Adidas Tottenham kit, the light blue one. What an absolutely lovely gentleman he was. Another person that wore that shirt, like it was like it meant something to him. That's why he comes back home and he still gets that reputation. Arbeit. Not that we like that word, but
yeah,
but it meant something to him. Like even one of the only players that had a real winning, because he won the Champions League for Dortmund. He was the only player winning the Champions League, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So he was a proper bloke. Really nice chap.
The only other one for me, Big Les Ferdinand, Sir Les, another total gentleman. He's the work he's involved with behind the scenes. So the whole kick it out racism from the sport, and just standing up for what's right, as you said, with other players, you get this sense of they're going to go out of their way. It's a step above what everybody who's around them's likely to do, sticking up for what's right and making the sport a better thing. It's often underlooked just what an impact ex-players can have. Still, just getting around the community. So much respect from fans. Another one loved around more than just the Spurs fans. They loved him at Newcastle as well, didn't they? And yeah, top bloke, larger than life character. And what a smile he has when he greets you. It's brilliant.
I have two Gaza stories I can tell. I have a few, but there's two I can tell. So obviously I got to meet Gaza quite a lot. And the reason I got to meet him quite a lot is when I was playing for my Jewish football club, Spec in North London, there was a player on our team called Paul Steen, who I was friends with. Now his dad was Mel Steen, who was Gaza's agent at Spurs.
Yeah.
So Gaza, when Paul Steen got bar mitzvahed, Paul Gascoigne was there at my synagogue, and it was the day that we beat Oxford 4-2 in the FA Cup when he created 2 and scored 2. And you've never seen a synagogue so packed. It was like literally 3 people to a seat. You've never seen anything like it. And it even got to the point where the rabbi got up to do the sermon and said, "So I see we have a full house today. You've obviously not come to listen to me. Gaza, up you come." And said, "Come take the sermon." But obviously he didn't. It was just a joke. Gaza pretended to get up, but then he left and went and battered Oxford like 2 hours later. But the other story is I used to work in Harrods. So I used to work in the sports department. I was a manager. And this was in 2000. I was only 21. I was manager of my concession, not manager of the floor or anything. So I was on the sports section, and I was working for a golf company called Oscar Jacobsen. They were Swedish, but they did loads of the golf apparel. And being young boys at the time in our 20s or whatever, whenever you saw a hot girl or you saw, and I'm sure the girls will do it with hot guys or whatever, but whenever a hot girl walked through, you're like, "Oh, go check her out, go look at her, go." So anyway, someone came up to me and go, "Brian, check out this hot girl that's just walked through." Now, if people have been to Harrods, you walk through and it's like little archways that you walk through into each section. So anyway, looked over, it's Cheryl Gascoigne. I was like, "You idiots, do you know who that?" And obviously in Harrods, you see so many famous people all the time. And I was like, "Do you know who that is? That's Cheryl Gascoigne. That's Cheryl Gascoigne." And obviously my affection for Paul was like, "That must mean Paul Gascoigne is good." And as I said it, he walked through like from that department to mine. And I thought I said this quietly, but then I realized I didn't. I went, "Oh my God, I love you." And then he just turned around and looked at me and he went, Spurs fan? I went, yeah. He goes, come with me. So I did all this shopping around Harrods, like not just on my floor. He took me with him everywhere. And then the real funny thing, this is when you know it's like meeting Gazza. This was before chip and pin, and you remember you had to put the credit card in, and then you waited, and that paper came up, and you signed it. So Gazza had spent quite a bit of money, and it was one of those where it said, phone this number for authorization. So I phoned the number up. It just so happened to be a Geordie or someone from the north with the Geordie or Middlesbrough Southern accent. And the first thing they do is like, can you give us the card number, please? And I said it's Harrods. So I read the card number, and they went, can you tell me who you've got there? I was like, yes, it's Mr. Paul Gascoigne. And they went, Gazza. And I went, yeah. They're like, I don't believe you. I was like, well, I've called you from Harrods. I've given you my ID. They're like, let me talk to him. He spoke to him for about 5-10 minutes. I came back and said, you're right, whoever it was, this guy was crying. It was like, I'm so thankful because I've now got to speak to, and that was the impact that this guy has on people. But when I literally said, oh my God, I love you. And I was like, oh no. And literally from just to turn around and go, Spurs fan, yeah, come with me. Just a wonderful, wonderful guy. Not was he only just a superb footballer, but what a character. What a character.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we had this discussion just the other night, about greatest ever Spurs players, and we mentioned you, Brian Daigle, because we knew it would be Paul Gascoigne all the way
for the rest of my life till my dying day. We could sign Messi, and he could hit Barcelona numbers, and it's still Paul Gascoigne.
I'm really torn between him and Hoddle, because I thought Hoddle, for the sheer genius of the passing ability and everything about the way he plays, but how can you just
imagine them together? Could you imagine the central midfield of Hoddle and Gazza?
Well, I said it probably wouldn't work, because Gazza would want the ball the whole time. Hoddle would be there thinking, well, I've got nothing to do here.
Well, Bobby Robson did say they had to give 2 balls for the England team, didn't they? One for the rest of the team and one for Gazza.
Yes, true. Lineker always made a point of it as well. He said the only time he knew he'd get a pass from Gascoigne is if Gascoigne wanted it back immediately, or he was knackered and just said get on with it. But brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I love. How can you not love Paul Gascoigne? It's just everything you'd want. Pure entertainment all the way through, on and off the pitch. Even the stupid little childish pranks, they were making everybody laugh.
Even with the popcorn, I'm sure you've seen the video where he sees it on the camera and he's sitting on the touchline and he just starts stuffing popcorn in his mouth.
Yeah. With that insane cheesy grin he does, yeah. It's just brilliant. Bobby Robson as well, the way he talks about Gascoigne, it's just lovely that they had such a lovely relationship with that World Cup. You could listen to it all day. I mean, there's a lovely documentaries done about it as well, wasn't there? It's always a huge influence on each other. They were, because it was Bobby Robson knew about this adversity from the World Cup previously, and people calling for him to be on the way out and everything, and Gazza just lifting the whole mood, the whole country. That Italian 90 is that's the World Cup. There was nothing even remotely comparable for that for me. I mean, the only thing I could imagine that would have been better was actually winning it in '66, but obviously I wasn't around then. So this was the next best thing, and I do remember feeling a little bit tearful when certain Mr. Gascoigne was himself.
I cried.
Yeah, because
I think we all
everything. Do. Yeah. Felt the old lump in the back of the throat there, and I was holding it back a bit, but yeah, could feel it.
Do you know, if you look at it as well, Kuva, talking about that, I can't remember another player that's gone to their first World Cup and just literally dominated a World Cup. Like you Messi hasn't even done it. Messi hasn't even done it. Ronaldo hasn't even really done it on the World Cup scene. The Euros obviously went and won, but you look at it, I can't think. And the biggest shame is that he only got to go to one World Cup. That's the biggest shame.
Yeah, unbelievable that, isn't it?
Yep.
But then you got players like George Best. George Best didn't go to World Cup finals at all, did he?
No, I think he may have. I'm sure. Let me check that right now. I don't know why I think he did.
It certainly didn't appear there much if he did.
It might have been a Euros. It might have been a Euros.
Euros, I think he might have, yeah, but I think he
Yeah.
missed out on the World Cups totally. But
George.
yes, it's a real shame because that's where you want the best players in the world showcased all the time. But anyway, we have been going a very long time now, so I think perhaps might have to.
No,
start.
you're right. He hadn't.
Yeah, no, I didn't think yet. Oh, so let's finish off with a few questions, perhaps, and we'll let everybody trickle off. It must be getting time for your missus soon.
Yeah, I've got 12
Brian.
minutes till my wife logs in.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm getting customers again, so I'm gonna have to love you and leave you, unfortunately. So it was a
Fair
pleasure
enough.
talking to you.
Perhaps we'll
As
wrap
always,
up here
chat.
then. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Ben and Brian and Mark, for popping on. Good to see you for the first time on over the actual stream.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, if all goes well, perhaps we'll go for a beer at some point.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You never know.
We're not too far away, are we? Anyway.
No.
Okay, well, that's wraps it up for today then. We'll let people get on with their day and hope we got a bit of football to come back to at some point. Otherwise, thoughts go out to Bob Spur and his
big
fighting
up, Bob.
against that COVID and the pneumonia. We're all really behind that bloke. Just absolutely love him to bits. Larger than life character. All the YouTubers absolutely adore him behind the scenes as well. He does so much. So much review, mental health issues, you name it. Brian's top on that as well. You'd know it when, as soon as you talk to Bob behind the scenes for a little bit, you really get to know what he's all about. It's totally genuine. I mean, people say about, there's an act for YouTube, and of course you put on your face and everything. And sometimes I always acted up like comic style when I can. But Bob is just 100% Bob all the time. He's a lovely bloke to know, and so's Kim, his missus. She's been absolutely fantastic to know as well. Another really genuine person, very warming. So thoughts and prayers with him, definitely. That would go for anybody that knows him on the community. Other than that, just again, thank you, Mark, for popping on. Nice.
Thank you very much.
Just very quickly, when Kuva says goodbye, don't leave the studio. Stay behind because we'll still be here because I want to ask you a couple of things so I can get in contact with you. So don't when he puts the final credits on, just stay where you are.
Okay.
Yep. I think we got is that Dermot popping on, or are you wanting to stay behind the scenes, Dermot? I think he might be staying behind the scenes. No,
I've come on just to thank everyone for this morning. Thank you I'm in witness protection at the moment, so that's why I look a bit in the dark. I just want to say thanks to Kuva and Brian as well. Mark, good morning. Lovely to meet you at last.
And you, my friend.
I thought you were going to kill me, Dermot, because we were going on for ages this morning.
That's okay. I know you like talking, so I thought you can go with it this morning, Kuva.
Good guess.
I've been enjoying it.
That helps.
Yeah, great guess.
Great host.
Just to let you know, Best never played in the World Cup.
Yeah, I did my research.
Yeah.
Did you not go to Euros either?
No, he didn't.
Oh, wow.
No, he retired, I think, at the age of 27 or 28, George Best. He had a 10-year career from 17 to 27. So,
what a waste of a talent, though.
Yeah, but thank you to everyone. I'm going to come off now, but just thank you for everyone for the kind words. Thank you to everyone.
Also with you as well, Dermot, mate.
Yeah,
thank you
today,
yeah,
mate.
I just wanted to say thank you.
Dermot, you're in St Albans, aren't you?
No, I'm in Wexford in Ireland. I used to live in St Albans. I was brought up in St Albans.
Okay, so I was going to say, when I'm home, I'll definitely bump into you, but that may be a little bit too hard.
I'm over in February. If you're over there in February, I'm over there in February.
I was due to come back February, but now, obviously, because I'm flying back Friday till January, there is no way, and I mean no way, I'm coming back in February. Put it this way, if I did come back in February, it'd be one way because my wife would have kicked me out, and there's no way. There's no way I am doing that. I've got, do you know what? I have a final thought. I have a wonderful wife who is upset that I'm going back because obviously it's Christmas and New Year without her, but she totally understands why. She is the love of my life, and the reason I have everything I have is because I have her with me. So So yeah, God, I'm getting emotional now. I'm gonna cut it before I start crying. Like on air.
I love this bit. Celery agents calling me a Sith Lord.
It's been an emotional week, Brian. So never be ashamed of that, mate.
I'm never ashamed, mate. Believe me. Come to the mental health show we're going to do in January. I'll be crying my eyes out. So
I was feeling myself going on the last one, the impromptu one.
I'm just saying, Coover, everyone come over to the dark side. There's a lot of fun over here. Forget Luke Skywalker, just come over to the dark side.
We support Spurs. We got Daniel Levy. There's no choice, really, is there?
No. Yeah, he's my apprentice.
I know I've got 7 minutes, so I'm getting the 7-minute warning here from the wife.
All right, yeah, props are right.
Well, listen, thank you all for coming on, and I'll be back tonight at 5 for my all-time 11. Thank you very much indeed.
There you go, Mark. Stay behind because I'm going to take your details.
No worries.
Okay, and thank you very much for joining us all this morning. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm glad to have Mark coming on for a first-time caller for us. Don't know how many other shows you've been on so far, Mark.
None.
Brilliant. Good to break your duck.
Do I sound like a Wurzel?
I do as well, don't I? It's West Country for you.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
You sound great, mate. You sound great. Do you know what? I will say, closure, as Coover will testify to, it's wonderful when new people come on because, as Coover will definitely verify, what people don't see behind the scene is what we do as a community and as a family is incredible. So to get new people on, to come on like this, Mark, because there's a lot of anxiety about coming on like, oh my God, I'm going to be on camera and all that. And some people have that, some people don't. But once you've done it, it's like, oh, do you know what? I like a bit of this. And you just get welcomed into the family. So you will be a new addition to it, Mark, which is great to see.
It really is addictive. Yeah, you did well anyway. Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
Anyway, right, that's all for now. We will be on again at 5 p.m. GMT this afternoon. And hopefully Dermot's feeling well enough to do his all-time Spurs 11. So I'm looking forward to that one. And Brian, where can we find you?
You can find me. The home of Daigle is Tottenham on Tour. But as I'll be back in London, or I'm normally on everyone's channel, but I'll be doing a lot more with We Are Tottenham TV when I'm back. So I will be with Ben and Simeon. And yeah, whoring myself out every channel. But the home of Daigle where there's only 2 whores at Tottenham on Tour, and that will be me in Ireland. So yeah, we're really on a push for 1,000 subscribers, mainly for the mental health show because obviously all proceeds are going to go to mental health charities. And yeah, Tottenham on Tour.
Yeah, I'll pick that one up as well. Tottenham on Tour, the mental health the one coming up. That is a must see.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched, I've forgotten who streamed it. Come on, the first one. It was
Colin. Well, we did one on Tottenham away on May the 4th because it was Mental Health Week here in Canada, so it was called May the 4th Be With You. And obviously, people have picked up on it and been doing great stuff. But we're doing a huge one, and there's a lot of time and effort that gone to this. We've got charities involved. We've got a lot of people that are going to come on. So it's going to be a real powerful, helpful show, hopefully.
Brilliant. Thank you again. And thanks to Mark once again. And this really is it now. We've had a world's longest wind down again, I think, in the channel. Seems to be we're getting a rep for it. So anyway, we'll see you at 5, and hopefully Dermot's in a good state to do his best 11. If not, we'll find something else for you. Might put on another match or something like that. We've got plenty to go through. Thanks again to Duck Jive for letting us use one of his videos. He's got a fantastic vault of things to look at. Please check out his channel, Duck Jive 1, old Spurs and England games that he's taken the time to upload off VHS. It's a fantastic channel. Thank you very much, guys. And
leave you out.
Come on, you Spurs. Leave you out. Leave you out. Come on, you Spurs.
When the Spurs go marching in, when the Spurs go marching